Santa has brought the cold weather as the Missouri Tigers match up against interstate rivals Kansas State. It's coming up next on College Football Saturday, presented by Philips Television in high definition. Come on, Santa!
Coach Bill Snyder is on his way towards his second miracle in Manhattan, bringing the Kansas State football program back to contention in the Big 12.
Our program is hard, it's demanding, but I'm pleased with the respect our players have towards our common goal of trying to improve on a daily basis. Today's conference matchup against the battle-tested Missouri Tigers. And when the smoke clears, the victor's path to the top of the Big 12 North becomes a bit clearer.
I'm feeling invincible tonight. I'm alive, take a look into my eyes. Yes, I'm taking for a ride.
The Tigers' offense is highlighted by the aerial assault between quarterback Blaine Gabbert and exciting playmaker T.J. Moe. The Wildcat offense dominated by Daniel Thomas, the Big 12 rushing touchdown leader. Kansas State and Missouri, two teams ball-bound and hungry for more. An emotional one in Columbia. It's senior day as Mizzou is going to try to slow down one of the very best in the nation, K-State running back Daniel Thomas. Welcome to Faurot Field in Columbia, Missouri. Big 12 College Football Saturday, presented by Philips Television. Two top 25s get together. Kansas State taking on the Missouri Tigers. Two teams that also sit side by side in the Big 12 North standings as both need help if they are going to catch the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Hi, everybody. Joel Myers alongside Dave Lapham, and welcome to chilly, gray, gloomy Columbia, Missouri. Your kind of weather, isn't it, Dave?
Beautiful.
A lineman's love. Well, the next 3 weeks are going to clearly define the seasons of these two teams. K-State with 6 wins already. They have been a pleasant development of the Big 12 North, and especially when you consider what they did to Texas last weekend.
They unveiled another weapon in their ground and pound attack. I mean, Colin Klein, 6'5", 230-pound long strider. In his first start at the quarterback position, he set a record, 127 yards at that spot. And look at the vision, look at the decision-making. Makes a good move here, gets up the football field. At that size, he's tough to bring to the ground. Look at the blocking. I mean, they're going to get him on the edge. And when you block like this, he's going to gain positive yards for you. He makes you defend the entire width of the football field, and you couple him with Daniel Thomas, you have a nice 1-2 punch. Now, Carson Kaufman is available today, and he will get some snaps, but Colin Klein gives you another nice option to that quarterback position.
Well, Missouri started the season in sensational fashion, 7-0, beat number 1 Oklahoma, but now it's back-to-back losses to Nebraska. Last week, Texas Tech. At least they discovered a running game, and also that they have some very talented young running backs.
And young is the key word. I mean, the third play of the football game last week, Marcus Murphy goes 69 yards for a touchdown on a speed option. I mean, this kid is all about speed, and he's a true freshman. And the thing about him is, this game's not too big for him. I mean, this guy understands that the game is mature beyond his years. And you can also go to the other side with an explosive running back. Kendall Lawrence, he's a good receiver out of the backfield as well. But as you look at these plays, the thing that jumps out at me, they weren't touched. Unbelievable blocking on the perimeter by the wide receivers. They could have scored in touch football.
When we come back, it's senior day in Columbia, but first, Darren Horton in our College Football Saturday studio. You're watching Big 12 College Football Saturday. It's all presented by Philips Television. Of their teammates as the Wildcats of K-State, they are here to play the role of the spoiler. Can they get it done? Find out more now with Jim Knox. Knoxy.
Coach, an emotional day. You said goodbye just now to 15 seniors. What's going through your mind?
Well, they've just been so committed. You know, they've helped build the tradition of Mizzou football, and they're going to pass it on. And you get so close to all the kids, so they're all going to graduate. You know, or have graduated. So I got to get my emotional stability here maintained here.
Now, talking about stability, one of the key ingredients in you guys winning today's game was slowing down Daniel Thomas of Kansas State. How do you do it?
I don't know if you slow him down. He's a great football player. I think you just got to tackle well. You got to keep good leverage so you hopefully prevent big plays. But he's a great player, and we're going to play a very physical game.
Thanks for the time.
All right, Noxie, thank you, and I agree with Gary Finkel. He's the impact player that he's playing on Saturdays this season. Next season, he'll be playing on Sundays, so we welcome everybody on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces. 175 countries aboard ships at sea, watching around the world today in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, Japan. Thank you to each and every one of you that we can enjoy our freedom.
Thank you for your service.
Marcus Murphy waits. Cantelli gets into it, and we are underway. And it's going to be Murphy. He's got it at about the 4. Murphy with a lane up the middle. Breaks one tackle, but they'll slow him down just short of the 30 and put him down at the 28. Lemieux on the stop. And our Phillips Television starting 11. And the man in the middle, Tim Barnes, he's a senior. We honor the seniors today, out along with Missouri. He's got almost 40 consecutive starts. Moore gets the start, but we'll see a ton in the backfield for Missouri. They'll use 3, even 4. Agnew, the tight end, along with T.J. Moe. Those two have better than 60 grabs apiece. Only one of 3 teams in the nation with 2 receivers, a combo with better than 60. As Missouri starts officially at their own 28. And the quick one on the out in the little slot move. It's Agnew. And he's got it for about 5, like a run for Blaine Gabbert. And Blaine Gabbert was hit a lot over the last 2. They say, what's wrong with Blaine Gabbert? Well, Dave, you know well, this is a timing rhythm offense, and he needs his time.
He needs his time. He needs his space. He needs his receivers to win one-on-ones when they're matched up that way, and he needs them to find space when they're running against zones.
Yeah, will they run the football? Yes, they will. And a good hole and a first down for Devin Moore, the junior out of Hazelwood Central High School in St. Louis, brought down by true freshman Trey Walker. And as we look at this injured, depleted group, up front, Brazell Brown has moved to end. They've moved a lot of people around. Walker, true freshman, starts at linebacker due to the injuries to Rebeck. And then in the secondary, they've got Tyson Hartman, the strong safety. He's been a rock for him. Honorable mention all Big 12 last year. Now Gabbert in trouble. Going to get back to the line, makes one miss, and will be dropped for a sack and a loss back at about the 37 by Lemur.
And the keys to the game: win third down. Really struggled last week against Texas Tech. 1 for 12, converting 35% of the season, 100th in the country. And they want to play catch, throw it and catch it. I mean, 67% completion in the first 7 games, 41% the last 2. And then third, red zone. Defensively, they're dynamic in the red zone. Kansas State has scored 16 touchdowns in the last 18 opportunities in the red zone offensively.
Time for Gabbert. His receiver took a shot, but he keeps it, and that is Jarrell Jackson on the reception. He had a lot thrown his way last week. In fact, he had 10 without many catches. Hartman on the hit.
Yeah, in Texas Tech, he wants to make up for a subpar performance, and this is a good one. The catch and the hit were simultaneous, and for him to establish possession and maintain it was big time. That's a nice start. And they've got Gabbert's feet on the ground, settled in a little bit, trying to establish that rhythm and timing that you're talking about, Joe.
And Franklin's in. Little wildcat action with a backup quarterback. The freshman out of Texas. And will he keep it? Yep, on his own read. Big hole up the middle. There goes Franklin into the secondary. He's got a first down to the 33 in a gain of 17. It's Hartman on the big stop.
Franklin will remind you a little bit of a guy named Brad Smith, who quarterbacked here a few years ago. He's with the New York Jets now. Look at the zone read, the fake on the jet sweep up the football field. I mean, a cavity that's enormous, getting through the hole unmolested. If it's the offensive line to get to the second and third level to throw blocks.
Out of the gun with Moore right behind him. And it is going to be Moore over to the left side. Hole closes in a hurry. He still gets a little more than 3. Brought down by the true freshman out of Olathe. That is Trey Walker. So they're missing Rebeck. They've really been decimated defensively. And we talked to Bill Snyder about it. They don't have a lot of healthy guys defensively. They've plugged some gaps.
Yeah, they've only got 70 scholarship players. Now you're allowed 85. So the depth isn't that big, and they are struggling a little bit and having to play some very young players as a result.
Second and 7. Drops to start the Missouri 28 in the flat, nothing available. Grabbed by Moe and put down immediately. Jim Knox, how cold is it down there?
Oh, Joel, this is Dave Lapham's big-time weather right here. The big guys love it. About 41 degrees, wind chill factor 33. I guess when you're looking at upside on the goalpost, wind chill factor 33 degrees because the wind is blowing around 25 miles an hour, guys. My mouth can't even move. It's so cold down here.
Good golf weather.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
A lot of antifreeze in those kids right now.
And they're running quads over here. They're trying to get that middle linebacker out of the box, get him a little uncomfortable, and then they motion back.
Bringing more into the backfield. And now a zone read for Gabbard. He's going nowhere on third down. Interesting call all the way. It goes to the 29, and that is it. So a big quarterback, Blaine Gabbard, at 6'5", 235. You don't think of him as a runner to begin with, and he's brought down by Wright.
Yeah, and he can hurt you a little bit. Against Kansas State last year, he hurt him, gashed him with some runs. And that's one thing that Bill Snyder talked about. You know, we got to make sure that we contain him. Don't let him get out on the edge or really hurt our rush lane integrity for some scrambles.
Well, they're not going to bring on the place kicker on fourth down on senior day, 4th and 5. Did they get him offside? Or will they actually snap the football? Trying to show some early confidence in the offense, obviously. Here comes the pressure on Gabbard, and he won't get the first down. Grab is made, but his running back Moore is pounced on immediately in Kansas State. You talk about a turn. Now the momentum belonged to the defense of Kansas State very early, even though they gave up a lot of yards on the first drive.
Bend but don't break. To me, that's like a takeaway. You hold a team on 4 downs just like you forced a fumble and they recovered.
Offensive line. Look at Kendall, the senior from Peculiar, Missouri, and another senior out of Hillsboro, Kansas, Wade Weibert. Those two very good guys up front, so they like to run over to the left side. Daniel Thomas the key, though, and Carson Cochran, who's been bound up, did not play last week, out of Peculiar, Missouri at 6'3", 210. Their passing quarterback is in there. Not as mobile, big of the injuries recently. He has been able to run a little bit, but you wouldn't think today. And the ball always jumped the route perfectly, the D-back, and making the linebacker good. He jumped it. He went right past him.
Yeah, Gooden is like a D-back, Joel. I mean, this kid has a 40-inch vertical jump, runs a 4.37 and benches over 400 pounds. He undercuts the route and almost makes the interception. Trying to go to Aubrey Qualls to start the football game. When you don't execute on first down, you're off schedule.
Did not play last week. Then he attempted 4 passes last week, completed 2 for a total of 9 yards against Kansas. Daniel Thomas bouncing out, bouncing around, and gets it close to the 30. It'll come up to a 3rd and 5 as he's brought down by Andrew Wilson, who starts in the middle due to the injuries to Ebner and Lambert, who's out for the year. Defensively, big guy Olin Smith, he missed it early. He was an exceptional freshman last year out of Raytown. And I just talked about Andrew Wilson, his father Jay, an all-big game linebacker for the Tigers. And a couple of seniors, Kevin Rundle in the corner along with Carl Dennis, both honorable mention guys last year. There's big Olin Smith, the sophomore from Raytown.
You're going to get pressure off the edge, and they're stacking the line of scrimmage. Everybody's within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. There's a little pressure package going here.
Looks like press. There's a check at the line by Carson Cotton. The blitz coming off the edge. Will they get to him? And it's falls incomplete. The pressure paid off. Going for the tight end, Travis Tannehill, and Jarrell Harrison over there, along with Smith on the coverage.
Well, Steck, the defensive coordinator in Missouri, he's got confidence that his cornerbacks can line up and play man coverage on the edge, and allows him to load the box up. And he brought people on that pressure package on 3rd down and said, you guys, I know you're going to hold up on that island, and they did.
It'll be Gaddis and Kip Edwards waiting for the punt from Ryan Dorr, the sophomore from Katy, Texas. And downwind. Fair catch is called for, and Gaddis has good field position for Missouri outside of their own 36 when we come back. So Missouri's got yards, but no points to show for it in Columbia.
Let's go.
That to the state capital of Jefferson City. She's got the right idea.
Yeah, she does.
That's great.
And Joel, the big deal is, like Noxie was talking about, the wind. It favors one team, and you're going into it. It's the only weather factor that only favors one team.
Little comeback And the completion is good, but short yardage going on the outside to Darrell Jackson. A little bubble action. On the outside, it's Agnew. And he's got a first down. Antonio Felder brings him down. Agnew leads all the nation's tight ends in receptions. He's 8th overall among all receivers. And this is the guy that started the season with 7 career catches. Nice story, a junior from Plainview, Texas.
And really, the receivers do such a good job on those bubble screens, Joel, of stock blocking. The blocking's outstanding on the edge.
Back in there, down to the 46 of K-State is Kendall Lawrence. He'll get his first carry. Couldn't get by Trey Walker. And looking at the Chrysler Keys, we just saw him for Missouri, and now the Keys for K-State.
Well, they want to win the turnovers. They're 4-0 when they're plus in the turnover part, and 2-1 when it's even, 0-2 when they lose it. Crowd control. They want to get the momentum going. They want to silence this hostile environment, maybe score first, and then finally hitting yards, field position. Bill Snyder wants to go short fields for Kansas State, long fields for Missouri.
And they give it in rhythm to the wide receiver and a run down the sideline. Guess who? T.J. Moe, the Moe factor, the big catch, and the miracle against San Diego State. And Moe is brought down by Sweeney.
Watch Wes Kemp, number 8 on the perimeter. Little jet sweep once again. Here comes Moe. And you got Larry, Curley, and Shemp throwing blocks for him down the football field. Look at that one by Kemp. Unbelievable block on the perimeter. When you have a nice play like that on the edge, it's always because somebody did their job on the outside.
So a timing offense, and that personified it. The left guard lifts it up.
Yep. You know, he's in a 2-point stance, but you can't take your set with your feet. You can't start the play. And he did exactly that. Started the play before the snap of the football.
Missouri is averaging 31 points a game, and that's 8th in the Big 12. So it's surprising because here's K-State, 32 points a contest. Missouri has spoiled their fans because they've exploded scoreboards.
Right, and their defense this year is playing at a very high level. The Missouri Tigers, they're playing well for Steck. They're playing as a unit.
From the 29 now, you're going to get it on first down. Quarterback goes with it. Loads his shoulder for good yardage down to the 20. That time is pretty decisive about the run. No deliberation. Tyson Hartman on the stop.
Well, what you have is 5 receivers, so the box is unloaded. Look at the blocking. I mean, driving off the football field. That's a way to double team at the point of attack. Nice job up front, getting after it. And the offensive line, man, I tell you, Tim Barnes, Holmgren doing a good job. And lower that shoulder and get everything you can. Here you are, second down on the cusp of the red zone.
Franklin takes over. Freshman quarterback out of Texas. And will he run it? Yeah, he'll call his own number. Yeah, it's a mistake. On the zone read, there was a lot of room, and it's easy to say up here, but a lot of room for the wide receiver or the running back, Kendall Lawrence, in motion.
Well, you're right, Joe. They lined him up as a wide receiver. They brought him all the way across the formation as a jet sweep. And a lot of schools are doing this now, a jet sweep read. You know, you see what the defensive ends and linebackers are doing, how they're affected by the jet sweep. The quarterback reads those guys and decides whether to hand it off or keep it. That time he kept it, it was improper.
Gabbard is perfect. He is 6 for 6 for 37 yards and back in there. They need 11. Middle's available. Completion. Does it go in? No, they put him down to the 1. T.J. Moe.
A little premature. Cannon shot right there by the official spot, but T.J. Moe does a great job down the hat between the hash marks in the middle of the football field. This is where guys of his caliber on third down and in the red zone, quarterbacks have a comfort level going to a guy like T.J. Moe. A former All-State quarterback himself, he sees the position through a quarterback's eyes. He knows that he's open, gets his head around quickly, and now square up and try to take it in the end zone. He hits, and the ball is, they're going to have to take, that one's going to be reviewed. He's in the end zone. He balances himself with his right arm, and nothing's down. That's a touchdown. They're going to review that, and that'll be overruled, and T.J. Moe will be in the end zone for a touchdown. Great route, great throw. It starts with protection. He had nobody in his face, delivered a perfect pass, and Moe not only caught it, yards after catch, Joel, he finished it.
Where's that classic song, The Curly Shuffle, when you need it? And they took that call away from you, Dave. 5:37 to play in the opening 15 minutes in Columbia, Missouri on Senior Day. You can see the emotion in Gary Pinkel when he talked to Jim Knox. He was fighting back tears. At the end of the play, is the knee down? No.
Look at him balance himself with that right arm, and then the ball. All the ball has to do is touch it's into the end zone. That's just an unbelievable effort. Ty Zimmerman made the hit, but could not get his helmet across the bow in front of the body. His head was behind Mo, so Mo's body momentum took it right past Zimmerman into the end zone. Just a great effort. And Mo's a tough guy. I mean, he was recruited to play safety. He originally was on the defensive side of the football, and he was an all-state quarterback in high school. So this kid understands the game.
So what you're telling me is Mo can go low.
Mo can go. Mo can just go, period. Mo's a player.
It looks like a score after the official review. It should be.
You love tough guys. You love tough guys like Mo.
After further review, prior to the player being down by rule, touchdown.
So Missouri on the board after all those yards on the first 2 drives. In fact, 114. They get their first point of the day on Seniors Afternoon.
And they've gotten Gabbard off. Is he thrown an incompletion yet?
No, he was 6 for 6 going into that one, 7 of 7 on the touchdown.
Okay, well, he was only completing 41% in the last 2 weeks. His protection's better. His receivers are getting over.
Grant Russell with a decided hook with 5:37 left in the first quarter, but it works for the Tigers, and they've got a 7-0 lead trying to bounce back after 2 consecutive losses.
Hey, Noxie, that Hass avocado dip, that'll keep you warm, baby. Get a couple of bites of some Hass avocado.
Don't encourage him. Just don't encourage him.
They'll up the temperature of the little body temp.
Quarles back along with John Hubert, and on the ground from Missouri. It's picked up by Hubert. Should be good field position, and it's great field position across the 40. So the gamble does not pay off. Out to the 42 in K-State with a short field. Trey Barrow making the stop.
Oh, Hubert's in there because William Powell's not, leading the country in kickoff returns, over 34 yards per return. But this kid broke all of LT, LaDainian Tomlinson's high school records in Waco, Texas. That's a ball player right there. They've got themselves next man in.
So Powell did not even make the trip, as Carson Kaufman did, though. And after Colin Klein started last week in the win over Texas and everything was on the ground, it's Carson Kaufman from the 42 with Daniel Thomas once again in the backfield. Also Braden Wilson, the fullback. It's Carson Kaufman running the football effectively, and he's close to a first down, a little more than 9. It'll be second and short, brought down by Andrew Wilson.
Well, the reason that Kaufman didn't play last week is he wasn't quite healthy enough with that ankle problem against Texas. And Coach Snyder found that they could run the football. They only threw it 4 times last week, completing 2 of them for 9 years. And Colin Klein gashed Texas for 127 yards on 25 carries, and he scored 2 touchdowns, complimenting Daniel Thomas's 2 touchdowns and 109 yards in the ground.
They are very reliant, though, percentage-wise, touches. And contact was made by Missouri. It's a free 5.
Yeah, that's
Rissono.
Rissono just he listened to quarterback. Watch the football. Don't move till it moves.
Offside. Defense, number 93. Contact with the center. 5-yard penalty. Result of play. First down.
I can honestly say, Joel, when I played the center position, if I had a guy that was frothing at the mouth, I'd squeeze the football a little bit. Just squeeze the ball. He didn't have to even squeeze it that time. All they're doing is, if they're looking at the ball and you just squeeze it, any movement like that triggers him. And it's a little trick you can use as a center. That time, all he did was listen to quarterback, and the ball is right under his dauber. I mean, all you have to do is look down. There's the ball. Don't move till it moves.
So after the short kickoff and only 1 first down, K-State's already got it to the Missouri 44. Deep single is Daniel Thomas. 7th in the nation, 122 yards a game. Short side, option, Kaufman, and no gain. Brought down right at the original line of scrimmage. Well, you talked about all the yards last week, and only 9 through the air against Texas. What a rarity. As you can see, since 2000, the fewest yards passing to produce a victory.
It's amazing. 2 for 4. So they averaged 2.5 yards an attempt, averaged 4.5 yards of completion. I mean, they put them in the sausage grinder and went ground and pound over the Longhorns and just ran the ball right at them.
Kaufman and Thomas. Thomas looking for room. Dropped right after the line, maybe a yard. And here's what I mean over the first 9 games this year, as Simmons is in on the hit. K-State with 377 running plays, which was 195 pass attempts. So you can call it predictable, but they're efficient in what they do, getting 32 points a game. You know Daniel Thomas is going to get his touches.
Absolutely. And will Missouri on this 3rd and long do the same thing that Steck did the first 3rd and long? No. They're not all ganged up at the line of scrimmage. He's going to rush 4 and drop 7.
It'll be 3rd and 9 at the Missouri 43. Kaufman with time, coming back as Quarles, but he won't get there.
Now does Bill Snyder go for it on 4th and short? This is an awfully long field goal attempt. You don't want to really punt it. If it goes in the end zone, you don't pick up any field position advantage. I think this is a deal where you go for it, and he's bringing his big guys in. He's bringing in the big fullback, Braden Wilson, over 250 pounds, to hammer it. Give it to Daniel Thomas behind the big fullback Braden, and they got a 250-pound tight end and a 280-pound tight end.
It is downwind, though. It'll be about a 52, 53-yard try. But they've got an incredible running back here. Daniel Thomas, 6'2", 230-pound senior. Now could Kaufman even get him offside, potentially, after the way they jumped last time. And it's a timeout, K-State.
And really, Missouri has to be smart defensively. Do not listen to the quarterback. Don't move till the football moves. Don't let him draw you offside.
After Kylie used Coke.
That'll take him out of field goal range, too.
Yep, he flinched.
It works against K-State. Followed on Kenneth Mayfield, the right guard, a senior, Randallstown, Maryland.
And once the big guy starts moving, he's not going to stop that 6'4", 350-pound body.
That's not a big deal because they were going to take a 5-yard mark off anyway to punt the football if a delay of game was called.
The way he was moving, though, it looked like they were going to run a play.
I mean, down to 1.
He flinched to go inside on his blocking double team.
Dorr trying to coffin corner it. Geddes has it sail over his head. Can they get to it? What a grab. What a play by K-State.
Oh, Zimmerman.
Sensational down there. Ty Zimmerman, the defensive back.
Man, what an effort. Whoa. I mean, Dorr does a good job of hanging it up there and allowing his coverage team to get down the field. But watch Zimmerman. What an effort. He knows the goal line's close. He tucks his feet behind him. This is just a very heads-up football play. The son of a high school football coach, this kid knows the game. Dorr's like, thank you very much. I opened the door for you, and you made a heck of a play. Dorr did his job.
My net yardage significantly improved.
Oh, yes.
Now from the 2. In a tight formation, Gabbard across the line for a yard out to the 2.
And remember, this is one of the big keys for Kansas State. Hidden yards. Win the field position. Well, you can't back a football team up any more than Dorr just did. Now, will his defense respond? Will Bill Snyder get the 3 and out that he's looking for, so he'll get afforded good field position, a half a field for his offense?
Running back Devin Moore with 1 wide receiver to each side of the formation. And Moore just plugs his way as they stack him up near the 4. So now a 3rd down for Missouri. Trey Walker in there, another true freshman. You were talking about Zimmerman. He is a true freshman as well. From Junction City, Kansas, former quarterback for his dad. And boy, it's carried right over to Bill Snyder.
Now, I think if Missouri throws the football here, Gabbard is going to be trusted not to put his team in jeopardy. I think you may see a bubble screen down to the short side where the 3 receivers are.
I'd move the pocket just so he can be out of the tackle box and throw it away if he has to. Instead, deep down the middle, and a flag on the play. There's contact. And it was Jarrell Jackson working it against the corner Stephen Harrison, number 8, on this side where the flag was thrown.
What's it going to be called, offensive or defensive? They were both allowed that spot on the football field. Who caused the contact and who separated? It's going against Missouri.
Delay game. Sideline interference against Kansas State. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
Sideline interference.
Wow.
That's a rarity, especially when a play has already been snapped.
Wow. So now it's 4th and short. That didn't give him a 1st down. Not an automatic 1st down.
There is disbelief, though, as you can see, from Bill Snyder.
And Bill's like, hey, the ref saying, I warned you guys, you can't have all those people. That 5-yard area, see this little white area right there? That's the 5 yards, this little white area. They have to be beyond that 5-yard area, and if you have too many bodies in there, they can call you for sideline interference because the officials can get tripped.
Now Missouri on 4th and 2. Bring on the punter, Matt Grabner, with a 44-yard average. And a low-line drive. It'll turn sideways, and did it touch a Wildcat? Missouri scrambles for it. It looked like K-State recovered it anyway.
I think it hit a Missouri Tiger.
And Trey Walker's got it. It didn't appear to hit a Wildcat to begin with, but now Kansas State. Talk about the ultimate, a really short field.
Well, remember, it all started with Dorr. Dorr pinned him back. And right here, he's signaling poison, get away from the football. It hit him right in the helmet. It hit the Missouri Tiger. The ball's dead right there anyway. At like the 42-yard line, they're spotting it at the 41. Dead ball because it's down by a Missouri Tiger. It's touched right there. Kansas State gets that short field we were talking about. The defense goes 3 and out.
And now they bring in Colin Klein, the sophomore from Loveland, Colorado, who set a Kansas State record in his first career start with what he did in better than 100 yards on the ground. Like an option quarterback, there he goes again. And into the secondary he goes for a first down inside the 25. Brought down by Jasper Simmons, the free safety.
It's a quarterback sweep. When he comes in the football game, there are designed quarterback run packages. This kid's 6'5", 230 pounds, and he can run. Hold the lineman, quarterback sweep, get around the edge. It's hard to get on the ground being so big, and he's a long strider, deceptively fast.
127 yards last week, and that is a quarterback record at K-State. 4 passes, that's all they ask. The sophomore of Loveland, Colorado, reading it perfectly. What a move. He's got a first down inside the 13. But talk about a guy that did not run himself out of a play. Kenja Jackson in on the stop.
Joel, this one he ran quarterback sweep. Now watch quarterback counter. Fullback, the guard will key the fullback. Watch the left guard key the fullback, pick up the linebacker. Quarterback counter, Klein reads it out. I mean, that's just like having a Daniel Thomas running back there. What a 1-2 punch that gives you. But you notice when Klein's in, Daniel Thomas is resting.
This young man was a wide receiver last year, Colin Klein. In fact, he played in 2 series at quarterback in the UCLA game. So they got him some snaps, and he keeps it this time. Another good read on first down to the Missouri 6. So a short field looks like it's paying up big time now on the final snap of the first 15 minutes of play. So a number 7 on his back, and that's what Colin Klein is trying to produce right now in a tie ball game against Dave Steckel, the defensive coordinator, and the Missouri Tigers. We'll come right back to Columbia. Missouri clinging to a precarious advantage early in this contest. As you're watching Big 12 College Football Saturday, all presented by Phillips Television.
Missouri up, they go 1, 2, 3 and out, get the offense a short field, and Klein takes over, running it 3 times for 30-plus yards.
Klein back in there. Missouri, one of the very best in the nation at defending against the red zone, while Kansas State, you see the success rate for the Wildcats. Daniel Thomas adjusting his fullback, Braden Wilson on the option. Thomas out on the edge, plenty of room to the corner. Doesn't get there. He's got a first and goal, though, down to the 2, almost the 1.
And as you mentioned, Joel, Missouri 25 times in the red zone. They've only given up 10 touchdowns, 40% conversion. This is the 46th opportunity. Klein with the pitch. Look at the big fullback getting the block on the edge. Get Daniel Thomas to the perimeter. Braden Wilson will lead on the inside linebackers, chop down the outside linebackers. Bill Snyder likes his fullback, and he thought that he had 7. He thought 6. He thought he had a touchdown on that one.
Now Colin Klein looking over to the sideline on first and goal in the opening minute of the second quarter. And don't forget, this drive started at the Missouri 41. It's Thomas. He's in. Touchdown, Kansas State. No shot, they go to the big guy. They got a 6'5 quarterback and a 6'2", 6'3 tailback, Daniel Thomas. And Kansas State is on the board.
And he's almost 230 pounds, Joel, and he just hammered his 13th rushing touchdown of the season. Look at the lead blocking, the physicality. I mean, man, everybody's face mask to face mask, knocking bodies around. But they opened up a huge crease for Daniel Thomas to take advantage of. We got ourselves a new football game because of hidden yards.
Josh Cherry, 30 for 30, and make it 31 for 31 with a perfect draw. So Daniel Thomas, the catalyst for this team all season long. In fact, he's touched it 42% of the time this year on their snaps. That's an amazing number. And he's got the equalizer for the Wildcats.
Now Daniel Thomas can go outside for yards, or he can go inside and finish it for a touchdown. So what a 1-2 punch. They make the defense defend the whole field, sideline to sideline, inside and outside. Both players can do it. And this guy can really do it. One of the best in the nation, Daniel Thomas.
And I mentioned on our way out, 42% of their touches offensively belonging to one player. That's a rarity.
That's a workhorse.
Cantelli kicks it away in a short one. Marcus Murphy from the 15. The true freshman from DeSoto, Texas, weaves his way to the 30, and that'll be it. So Missouri with a scoring drive of 7 plays, 63 yards, and the touchdown. Well, he was all set up. Agnew had a nice play on the outside. Yeah. The middle of the field was available too.
Public screen to one side, then they run the jet sweep to the other side with Mo. Then they run the quarterback draw up the middle of the football field. And then they throw the ball down the middle of the football field. So Missouri making Kansas State defend the entire football field, sideline to sideline, short and deep. Both coordinators attacking every quadrant of the field.
It'll be that jet sweep you were talking about. That nice run outside as popped out of bounds is Wes Kemp. They brought in Josie, Henry Josie, another freshman from Angleton, Texas. He was in the backfield, but good yardage on first down, almost a first down, a little more than 9.
And of the young guys, Joel, they think Josie could be the special one. This kid is really gifted. I tell you, Coach Pinkel has some young players in the funnel. Very, very youthful football team that's 7-2 today.
Well, it's senior day. They had 15 seniors, and a bunch of those were former walk-ons. There's a new kick-out block and a good completion. Going for the first down is Jarrell Jackson, brought down by Ty Zimmerman, but he had to have that block from the wide receiver.
And he got it, and it was Mo. Mo can do it all. I mean, he's one of those Wes Welker type guys. You know, he'll block, he'll get you the dirty yards. He's a blue-collar guy. Love him. Love Mo.
Well, he's all-state his senior season in a St. Louis suburb as a quarterback. There's Josie. Josie battles his way for good yardage up the middle. He's inside the 48 for about 7. Brought down by Ray Kibble, the junior, out of Houston. And we remind you, the 1st and 10 line is all brought to you by Phillips Television. Tied at 7. And when you talk about a young Missouri team, and I mentioned 6 or 7 of the 15 honored on senior day, former walk-ons, this is a very young group. Josie, a freshman. Marcus Murphy, a freshman. Devin Moore, a junior. Kendall Lawrence, a sophomore. And Gabbard in the zone reads, got the first down. The big guy slides his way, kind of slithers. How did he hide? He's got it to the 36.
Well, they did a nice job running the ball at the quads. They run 4 receivers down low. Nice kickoff block up the offensive line. Good job by Elvis Fisher sealing his man out. And Gabbard, both quarterbacks are running the ball efficiently today. Gabbard is a dimension that Bill Snyder was acutely aware of. He hurt them a couple of years ago running the football.
152 yards of total offense for Missouri. 63 now for K-State. Over the middle, batted down. Well read right up the middle. And it looked like it was almost going to be taken away by Brazell Brown. And he didn't get the penetration. So the guy was shifted from tackle to end. The senior from Houston had a nice play on it.
What happened is the offensive line blocked too well. I mean, they stuffed him at the, seriously, they stuffed him at the line of scrimmage, and he knows I have no pressure. Get my hands up. Maybe I get my hands in the throwing lane. He almost intercepted the ball.
Now 2nd and 10 at the K-State 36. Drive started with the Missouri 30. Look out. Agnew, they stand him up, and they deliver a pop at the 32. Short game. Maybe 4 at the most. Walker, Garrett, they combine, and they give it to him.
Again, Mo with a nice kick-out block. They're a man short out there. Kansas State makes a good read on the bubble screen. And Missouri will do this all day long. It's an extension of their running game. It's like a long lateral. I mean, it can be completed by Gabbard at will.
Now, Missouri, worst in the Big 12 on 3rd down conversion. Surprising. Now looking at third and about 6. Gabbert's got a ton of time. Looking over the left side, he should be able to get it anywhere. Up the middle, he goes inside the 20, down to the 10. Wow. Gonna get a block. He does. Touchdown, Blaine Gabbert. What about the block downfield by Wes Kemp?
Oh, goodness. A decleater. A decleater. And I'll tell you what, it was a great play by Gabbert because he wanted Mo. Mo came across the field, motioned out of quads across the backfield, ran his route. He was covered, taken away. Gabbert immediately made a great decision to tuck it and run. And boy, did they block for him down the football field, particularly West Kemp.
Wrestle for the point after. So on a 3rd and 6, Blaine Gabbert delivers. He's only a junior out of Parkway West High School, Baldwin, Missouri, St. Louis suburb. Playing like a senior right now.
Wes Kemp, 6'4", 220. Wow, decleater.
Saturday.
Close. You know, you get some body heat going in. And who would have thunk Gabbert would have had the significant impact on the ground? I mean, he's like, hey, Colin Klein can run, but so can I.
32-yard run for the touchdown by Blaine Gabbert. So now Missouri ready to kick it away once again. It'll be Trey Barrow, sophomore from Moberly, Missouri. Quarles back deep, also Hubert. And Hubert comes over to take it at the 5. They didn't try the short one this time. And a good return by Hubert across the 30 with a flag down on the play. And it looks like it's going to be on the blocking team, on the return team, where it was thrown. Let's see.
Well, 2 things, Joel. They're leading the nation in kickoff returns, and they're very not penalized very much. I mean, Bill Snyder's teams are very disciplined, not penalized.
During the return, holding. Receivers, number 89, 10-yard penalty, first down.
The hold is by Aubrey Qualls, the starting wide receiver who's on the kickoff return team. Bill Snyder's teams are very not penalized with great frequency. And there's the grab. There's the left arm. He's doing a little dozy-do and taking him to the ground. It's not square dancing.
He's a wide receiver, not a blocker.
I hear you. He got his money's worth there. He got a nice little bear hug. You know when it's cold outside, you want to go cuddle somebody.
Colin Klein stays in there. And I want to get your thoughts after the snap on the differences in game planning with the defensive coordinator for the Missouri Tigers. It'll be Daniel Thomas, Klein in the lead. And this time they get him. But first, the run, and especially the block by Wes Kemp at the end of the run for Blaine Gabbert.
Well, Mo, he kind of motions out of the quads, and watch his route. And that's who Gabbert's going to, but he's jammed, so Gabbert says, I'm going to tuck it and run. And watch down the football field. Wes Kemp, number 8. He'll be tracking, but boom! It's a knockout on Sweeney, and he took Zimmerman. He got 2 bodies. He got Sweeney, and Zimmerman fell over Sweeney. Easy score for Gabbert.
Shades of San Diego State, and there's not less than a minute to play. They put it down just shy of the original line. And the counteraction thrown at the feet of Braden Wilson. Now, Dave Steckel has to game plan against Bill Snyder. He doesn't know what quarterback. It's going to be Colin Klein. Is it going to be Carson Kaufman? It's almost like he's got 2 different game plans.
Yeah, really, because Colin Klein is a dynamic runner. You know, and his defense understands that this kid is going to run it first. That time he tried to throw it without any success. 3rd and long, Colin Klein at the quarterback position. You still have to beware. He can still run quarterback draw. He can do a lot of things. Make him try to throw the football.
He's got Thomas in the backfield. Runs the right side of the field with Trips. And now quarterback draw all the way, and a huge hole up the middle. There he goes for the big yardage across the 40 to the midfield stripe. And Missouri didn't load up. They spread the defense, and Missouri had to vacate the premises.
Absolutely. They ran 4 wide receiver set. They put Trips to the right, and they unloaded the box. And Colin Klein, like I said, you got to be aware for the quarterback draw. The offensive line sorts out the twisting up front, and Colin Klein just goes right up the gut of the defense. Shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and that's a straight line runner right there.
So, school record, eclipsing the old mark of L. Roberson. First down to the Missouri 49. Just about 5 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Daniel Thomas, he was due, wasn't he? Gets off for about 4. Nice stop by Andrew Wilson. It looked like a big gain, and that's the way you could tell the frustration. Daniel Thomas at the end of the run. He thought he was going to get more than 4 out of it.
That was a nice read and nice close on the football. I mean, Missouri has run to the football well most of the season as a defensive football team. Much improved there. There's 11 pieces to this defense moving in unison.
Line out of the gun on 2nd and 6. He's got room on the outside, gets a block, and gets close to a first down, and may get a flag at the end of the play. No. He's down to the 42, short of the first down by 3.
Right on the bounds by number 48, Andrew Wilson.
So Wilson again, sideline to sideline. I mentioned his father, Jay, an all Big 8 linebacker for the Tigers in the early 80s with the stop.
He pulled a quarterback counter that time. Both backside linemen pulled, and it's just part of the quarterback run package for Colin Klein.
This 2-10 line brought to you by Phillips Television. So another key third down coming up. Good field position for K-State. Can they get 3? Wide side option. Daniel Thomas gets it, and a lot more. Into the secondary he goes, bounces it back. Can he go the distance? He'll be caught with an angle, but holds onto the football all the way inside the 6.
Well, that's a touchdown-saving tackle right there, executed by Smith, a defensive lineman in great pursuit. Did he save 4 points? Did he save 7 points? How many points did he save? But now you have the 1-2 punch in the backfield at the same time. Klein and Thomas running the option. He gets the pitch to Thomas. Smith tries to tomahawk chop it out of there. This is a defensive end. Watch him pursue. I mean, he comes, doesn't give up on the play, and just runs like the running back. Smith can fly as an edge guy.
He's 6'4", 250. Daniel Thomas so strong, though, and he saw him out of the corner of his eye. Now, Hubert's in there. Hubert bouncing around and dropped after a gain of about 3. He's brought down by Andrew, senior outside backer at 6'3", 230.
Now remember, the last 19 times Daniel Thomas checks back in, he just had to refuel, take a little pit stop, change a tire, refuel a little bit. 19 times in the red zone. Their last 19, they've scored 17 touchdowns as Kansas State. 15 of them on the ground. Will that continue, or Missouri pull their necks?
It started back at the K-State 16. Don't forget they're looking at 3rd and 11. Deep in their own territory before the 36-yard run by the quarterback Klein. Now on 2nd and goal. Thomas, early pitch. Gonna get to the pylon. Yes! Touchdown K-State. He got there. He paid for it, but he made sure he got there.
And Missouri didn't do a good enough job on run support containing the edge. Watch the run support. Somebody has to get out for the pitch, man. He reads Madison quickly. Nice block by the fullback, cutting the pursuit. I'll tell you what, he can do it inside and outside. Braden Wilson, unbelievable job on the edge. The touchdown is courtesy of a lead block that chopped the defender in half. Should go up to Braden Wilson, give him a little kiss.
Point after. Successful from Josh Cherry, and it's all even now thanks to all the rushing yardage by K-State.
It's just like Texas last week. You know, they completed 2 out of 4 passes for 9 yards and ran the ball for 200 whatever down their throats. And Colin Klein get the contact lens fixed, get that vision right so he can make his reads out there.
Cherry will kick it away. A very short one. And on the run is Marcus Murphy at the 20. Not much chance to set up for return, but good yardage and good field position for Missouri out to the 34. Our ZMAX BCS rankings, and Darren Holt was just talking about the one-loss teams making a case to move up. Wisconsin's going to be one of those.
Yes, they will. And the Cornhuskers are the highest-ranked Big 12 team. Oklahoma State on their heels. And others that are in the BCS rankings are Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas State, both teams today, and Texas A&M broke in after their big victory last week. So 6 of the 12, half of the Big 12 teams are in the BCS top 25. Nice job.
A&M coming off a huge win last week. Later tonight, college football Saturday as it's taken in by T.J. Moe. It'll be A&M and Baylor. Most of you will see that game. Murr on the coverage, the free safety. Good yardage on first down, about 6.
And will Baylor be able to rebound from their Oklahoma State defeat? They went to Stillwater and got beaten handily. They're back home in Waco. How will they respond?
Yeah, what an emotional win last week for A&M. Home. Second and about 4. Regan is well in the backfield. Exceptional run. That time, Devin Moore back into the game. They started Devin Moore. We've also seen Josie, Marcus Murphy, in fact, Kendall Lawrence on the jet sweep as well. First down for Moore.
Watch the patience. The offensive line. Block down. Guard comes out. Kick out block. Seal the line of scrimmage. Moore understands this offense better than any of the running backs. He's got the most experience in it. The best blitz pickup guy as well.
And will it be a throw? Yes, he will. Going for the bundle and way over the head of the wide receiver. Wes Kemp was T.J. Moe, former high school quarterback. He threw a rope.
He threw it away. I mean, Kansas State was not fooled whatsoever. The coverage was there. Moe doesn't want to take a tackle for loss, basically a quarterback sack as such. He just throws it down the football field. The coverage is right there. He just basically throws it away.
So his guy is not going to get it. Nobody is. So the gadget doesn't work. Now it's going to be 2nd and 10. Gabbard, only a 3-man walk. He's got all day, and he's got a first down to the 25. Paying for it was Jarrell Jackson. The middle of the field again. And I'm watching between the hashes. They want to go there late, then it'll be available.
When you give Gabbard time, he can throw the rock. I'm telling you, he can spin it. And he's got time and he's got space in the pocket. His vision's unimpeded. Look at that bullseye. I mean, right between the numbers. He couldn't walk down and put it in Jarrell Jackson's chest any better than he threw it. I mean, that was a seed, and it got there accurately and with some velocity.
Agnew setting up now. Gabbard checking off of the line. Play clock. Inside of 5. Quarterback draw. And he follows his way through a little crease. That's a good read. Down to the 18, and it looked like it was his call.
Yeah, I think he checked to it. I mean, the middle of the football field is vacated. The box is empty. Gabbard has confidence in his offensive line. He has been a major threat and a thorn in the side to Kansas State's defense running the football. You know, Chris Kosh going to have to make some adjustments and get Gabbard on the ground.
It'll be 2nd and short. Gabbard, the passing department, 11 of 13 for 98 yards. He has been running the ball effectively as well. He's got 7 carries now for 63. And he calls his own on his own read, bouncing outside. You believe it? First and goal, Missouri.
Man, it's crazy legs Gabbard today. I mean, he's saying, hey, you know what, Colin Klein, yeah, that kid can run. He can run a court, but so can I. And I'll tell you, Coach Yost, David Yost, he's mixing things up. And he's saying, you know what, in order to get out of the funk, let's have Gabbard run the ball a little bit and create another weapon that the defense has to concern themselves with. You know, I mean, are they going to put a spy on some of these running quarterbacks? If you spy him, you better be able to get him on the ground. And Gabbard just passed our legendary Courtney Jones in the classic.
Nothing there on the ground.
Total yards, I should say. Total yards.
Devin Moore to the 9. Gabbard's an interesting story in that there's no question he's got a Sunday arm, as they say. He's also at 6'5". He's got looks that you kind of associate, and I won't bring it up because it's a sore subject around here if I bring up USC. But he's got movie star good looks like he could play for USC.
Yeah, he's a leading man. He's a leading man in a lot of ways. But the way he's the best leading man right now is what he's doing in the huddle, at the line of scrimmage, and the sideline. He's leading this football team.
Now, there's that jet sweep, and it's gone. He can walk into the end zone. Touchdown, Missouri. And Jarrell Jackson.
There's a breakdown in Kansas State's defense there.
No containment.
None whatsoever. A total brain cramp. And Missouri is excited about the play and the result. David Yost is in a nice rhythm as a play caller. Both offensive coordinators. Kansas State splits it. Dana Dibble and Del Miller kind of coordinate their efforts in play calling. David Yost is in a nice little rhythm, nice series calling plays.
Wrestle for the point after. Well, the first team that can stop the other has a great chance to.
Yeah.
4:12 to play in the half. Didn't take long to travel 66. A little more than 3 minutes, 8 plays, and a walk in the park for Jackson, the wide receiver for the Tigers.
Somebody has to have contained. He goes in for the crackback, and now, I mean, he's sealed so easily by Egnew. There is nobody outside. A complete breakdown in run support on that side. And you talk about walking into the end zone, talking about scoring in touch football. Wow, that's just a major, major mental error in the red zone by Kansas State defensively.
There's something definitely wrong with that picture. Aubrey Quarles back deep.
Talk about getting out leverage. They were out, man. They felt like custard. All the Indians, and there was nobody else.
They're going to kick it Quarles' way, pick it to the boundary at about the 10. And a good return. Breaking tackles across the 30 in great field position. Exactly where Missouri just started. At their own 34s, where Kansas State's going to have it, with 4:06 left in a wild first half.
Yeah, both of these coaching staffs have done a great job offensively scheming against the opposition defense. I mean, they're using a lot of formations, a lot of motion, varying the splits. They're doing everything they possibly can to put their kids, their players, in a position to succeed, get the edge. Look at that yards per play. I mean, 2 snaps, you have a first down and a half for both teams.
Across the 34 it goes. Colin Klein back in there at quarterback, but Daniel Thomas now spread the defense again. They're not even doing respect to run. That time they spied him a little bit better, didn't they? And good, the weak side linebacker staying at home on the play, the sophomore from Pflugerville, Texas.
I think what you have to do, and I'm sure Steck has said, look, don't fly out of there as quickly as normal as a linebacker. Don't run out of there on your drops when they're in the shotgun and 3 receivers to one side and one to the other. Make sure the quarterback, make sure of him. And I think Steck is going to have multiple guys spying and containing him.
And do you have to honor the pass that much, regardless of the formation, with Colin Klein in there?
I'd make them show me he can throw it well enough, but you can't leave guys just uncovered.
And blitzing on Thomas's side. They run right past him, but still, it is Wilson on the play in the stop at the 41, short of the first down by 3. So we check in with a frostbitten Jim Knox.
Okay, George, you know, Dave Steckel, the defensive coordinator of Missouri, was talking to his defensive squad during that after that last touchdown. He told the guys, hey, that's my fault, guys, that's my fault. I'm going to disguise it better next time around. It looks like he's doing a good job. Colin is having a difficult time looking at some of the disguises right now, reading the defense.
It'll be 3rd and 3. And Thomas can't get there. Shot down, trying to turn the corner. And it was Jasper Simmons, the free safety, a senior. Senior day for him out of Pensacola, Florida.
I'll tell you, that's a tremendous open field tackle. You're talking about Daniel Thomas. And to take that stud down like that in space, one-on-one, is big time.
Now, decision. And that's what Dave Steckel was waiting for. It's 4th and a little less than a yard. You've got a quarterback who's wrong at 6'5". Your running back, one of the very best in the nation, Daniel Thomas.
I think they'll decide and call timeout.
We'll stay right here with 2:16 to play. So 2 teams side by side in the Big 12 North standings. And it's going to define their seasons, because here you've got Missouri and Kansas State. No question Missouri was going to be bowl eligible. They were 7-0 to start the season.
Right.
K-State bowl eligible first time since 2006. There are 2 other teams, 7 in there, 2 others that have 5 wins. Now, the ranked teams for the Big 12, and it includes both that we're watching, plus the departure of Dan Hawkins, the big story earlier this week out of Boulder.
And the key is bowl eligible. It doesn't mean you're going to a bowl game. It means you can be considered. It's like being an eligible bachelor. You're not necessarily married the next day. I mean, you know, you're eligible, but it might not happen. So you still have to get invited. But they put themselves in position to be there. And for Kansas State with Bill Snyder, those extra practices and the extra time spent with his kids will be big time for this program, because he's just turning around again for the 2nd time.
Now, only 1 wide receiver setting up. It's 4th and less than a yard for K-State inside their own 43.
When big boy pads 2 tight ends and the big fullback, let's see what he does.
And it's the quarterback, and he's got it easily. 6'5". 230-pound sophomore from Loveland, Colorado, Colin Klein.
I'll tell you what, I have tremendous respect for Charlie Dickey, the offensive line coach for Kansas State, and what he's done with this group. I mean, the sum total of their parts is better than any individual. They play better as a unit than they do as individual players, and that's a total compliment. That's what offensive line play is all about. And they're very, very stout at the center and guard positions, and the tackles have come on and improved every single week.
So the clock rolls. Kansas State still with a timeout on the board. Plenty of time left in the half to get some more points. And well, there's their last timeout. As I say, plenty of time. Now it's gone with 1:38 to play. And that's just the inexperience of reading situations for a guy that doesn't get into many games. Now, as Bill Snyder told us yesterday, actually earlier in the week, because they canceled their walkthrough, but he mentioned at Kansas State, their first quarterback gets 60% of the snaps. Their second quarterback gets 40% of the reps. So it's not like a lot of programs where it's 80-20 or 90-10. Klein is getting more and more.
Yeah, in this past week, it was equal snaps, and the third quarterback got some snaps. Lemur, so I mean, Bill Snyder is all, you have to earn your job at the quarterback position every single day with Bill Snyder.
And he's changed his philosophy on that.
And he always has one in the ready, because he's seen a lot of these programs that give their quarterback, starting quarterback, 95% of the snaps. When that kid goes down, the next guy comes in bewilderment. I mean, he's not ready to go.
Now he's brought in his thrower, Carson Kaufman. And as Bill Snyder told us, he said, I've changed it because there's competition at every other spot. At tackle positions, at safety, why shouldn't there be competition at the quarterback spot? Carson Kaufman in there on the quarterback draw. Did he get out of the backfield? No. He's chopped down from behind by Alden Smith, the sophomore from Raytown.
And what he means there is Michael Bishop was his clear-cut number one. This is very competitive. This isn't a clear-cut number one, so I want to keep it both ready, because at some point in time, I may have to go to both of them. So he doesn't want to abandon any kid that is close to the starter at any position group.
Now out of timeout, 2nd and long, 2nd and 9 for Kaufman. Ton of time, and wide open. It's put on the ground. It should have been brought in. The wide receiver let it go in and out. Cole Beauchamp.
Man, and the pressure came from Missouri. They overloaded, and Kaufman throws a strike and flat-out drop. There's no other way to put it. That's a catchable football. It's right on target, and it split his hands. And you know, it's not like he short-armed it necessarily because of contact, but Kaufman's like, I threw it nice. Oh, no. You got to reward me for making that throw. And he had to throw that football retreating from the line of scrimmage because of the blitz by step.
He's a junior from Manhattan. Seen very little time. So now 3rd and 9 with the clock stopped with the incompletion. Again, Kaufman with time over the middle. He's got Quarles for the first down. So he went to the experience of Aubrey Quarles, a senior from Aurora, Colorado, and he caught it well in front of the free safety.
And remember, in first down in college football, clock stops until the change is set. They're already at the line of scrimmage, the clock just starts.
Thomas in the backfield with Carson Kaufman. Here comes the heat. He's got to get rid of it in a hurry. He's got a wide open wide out. Adrian Hilburn, senior from San Antonio, New Braunfels. Rip Edwards into the coverage.
Brad Madison got the pressure. Brad Madison hit Kaufman, but he got the ball out of his hand so quickly. Madison with the spin move couldn't get there in time.
Madison leads Missouri with 5 sacks this year. Now they jump.
Unabated. Got to blow it dead. Unabated to the quarterback.
Jacquez Smith.
Offside. Unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And that'll stop the clock.
Now, you'd like to have one of those timeouts that you burned up. 36 seconds. If you stall in the red zone, you're going to have to maybe spike the football. You're going to have to lose downs because you don't have timeouts to burn. You don't have the timeout. Keep all that in mind when you play call.
Down to the 15, 1st and 5. Kaufman a ton of time, corner of the end zone, and it looks like well, he caught it in the end zone, comes back, and this is going to be reviewed. Adrian Hilburn thought he caught it in the end zone, so did I. It'll be reviewed, and they put it out inside the 1.
Well, I thought he did have to come out to catch it. The ball has to cross the... Oh, it does. Oh, it's tight how it crosses the plane. I mean, but
right there.
The very tip of the football just has to cross the very front edge, and they're going to look at it again.
They'll review it.
Kansas State was at the line of scrimmage.
And they didn't have a choice with 22 seconds left and no timeouts.
I think they were going to run a quarterback sneak. I mean, they were empty backfield. Coughlin was under center.
It's interesting, though. Big cushions on the corners for Missouri.
And Coughlin throwing the ball very accurately. Now, possession. Let's see where the ball, when he catches the ball, does it ever, the tip of the football, is it over the plane? It is inches. I mean, if it's not a touchdown, it's not at the 1 foot line. It's not where they marked it. It is at the 1 inch line.
And is there enough evidence on what we just saw to overturn what's on the field?
Well, I think what they better do is spot it closer to the line of scrimmage, because they didn't get a very good spot. Now, the question, though, Joel, is just because it hit, does he have possession at that point? You have to have possession of the football, and is he juggling it? And did he, by the time he got full possession, was he at the half-yard line like they spotted? And again, it kind of went between Hilburn's arms a little bit, and you have to have complete control and possession. The ball can't be moving at all in your body. And then you have to, when it finally is possessed, where does he go out of bounds with the football?
The goal line.
That's the thing. He didn't have full possession. Just because the ball was in his body, you have to have full grasp of it. Again, let's take a look. Now the ball gets in between his arms, but see how it splits his arms, and he doesn't have full, it's splitting his arms, he doesn't have full possession, and by the time he corrals it, gets his left arm under it, it is at the half-yard line. That's a good call by the official. Pretty good call. I can't argue with that.
So we don't need to put it an inch away.
Right. I mean, I think all the way they were in great position, and you know, it was either a touchdown or where they spotted.
Carson Clark. That Colin Klein in there in the air. They're out of timeouts. 22 seconds to play. And he puts it on the ground, and Missouri covers it. Off the edge, Jacquez Smith.
The simplest
Do
thing.
you believe it?
Center quarterback exchange. The simplest thing is not executed in a turnover at the inside the 1 yard line. Dooms Kansas State after that tremendous drive.
And it almost looked like indecision when Kaufman looked over to the sideline and then got under his center.
And really, now the center is reaching. Look at the center reach block. When you reach, it squeezes the area between the center quarterback exchange. The center is snapping and pulling and reaching. He's not snapping and going straight ahead. See how he's pulling to his left? When he pulls to his left, it makes the exchange point different for the quarterback. Kaufman doesn't ride it long enough, and it's a fumble.
That'll do it for the half. Gabbard in the quarterback sneak. So Missouri comes into the game with a 4-game winning streak over Kansas State. But remember, 3 of those came without Bill Snyder on the sideline for the Wildcats. At one point, he had taken 13 straight over the Tigers, and he's giving them everything they want right now as we send it downstairs to Jim Knox.
All right, thanks, Joel. Coach, a huge turnover right there by your defense. You got to like that.
Yeah, we're struggling with their option a little bit. They're doing a great job, and we were fortunate to make a play and a turnover, and you know, they'll get the ball started the second half. So we got to get some answers to their option football.
Something you're not struggling with is your offense, and that is Blaine Gabbard and company, over 250 yards total offense right now.
Well, we're just executing, you know, making some plays, so hopefully we can continue.
All right, thanks, Coach. Halftime in Missouri. Got a good one going on. Missouri leading Kansas State 21-14 right now. Time for the Geico Halftime Show with Darren Horst. Darren?
Thank you very much, Jim. Welcome to our Big 12 College Football Saturday studios. As
Not a great day to start for the defensive units, but as Gary Pinkel said to Jim Knox, they've got a game plan a little better against the option. Hardly any passing for Kansas State, yet they're right there.
Yeah, they are. And not just the option, the quarterback run package. I mean, Klein has run the quarterback counter, the quarterback sweep, the quarterback draw. He's done it all. And here's the quarterback draw. It was 3rd and 11. They run the quarterback draw for 36 yards to put them in a short field situation, and they ultimately score. The 1-2 punch. Klein, they run the option. Daniel Thomas takes it in for one of his 2 touchdowns rushing. Thomas averaged almost 7 yards a carry. Klein was over 9. Amazing. But, you know, Missouri answers. They go to Mo down the middle of the football field. He has a touchdown reception there. And now Blaine Gabbard says, hey, I can run it a little bit. About 9 rushes for 70 yards, including this 32-yard touchdown, John. And what a block he got on the perimeter, a D cleater, and he just takes it inside the pylon for the touchdown. Just a dynamic effort by the quarterbacks.
Well, our Geico players go watch in the second half. You got to believe Colin Klein's going to be in there a lot. K-State probably wishes they had the running quarterback in there for the last snap of the first half. Yet don't put it on Carson Kaufman, because as Dave pointed out at the end of the first half, the way it was snapped to him, you could see the center was already leaving. So his launch point was completely different for the quarterback. And what a first half it was for Blaine Gabbert after last week, where he did not do a great job. And he had a lot of drops, but he was just 12 of 30 passing. And now our eharmony.com first half numbers.
And really, I mean, both offenses are operating very high efficiency. Look at the yards per play. 6.9, 7.3. Both have converted decently on third down. How about Missouri? Only 3 third down attempts, but they've converted 2 of them. Last week they were 1 for 12 against Texas Tech.
Let's head downstairs, check in with Jim Knox. Knoxy.
Okay, thanks, Joel. Just got through talking to Coach Snyder. He said they got to do something about Gabbert running the football. He said, I'd just like to kidnap him. That's how we're going to stop him. Second half, he thinks that the only team that has the ball last may win this game. He looks to outscore them. That's how they're going to win this thing. He said, I said, what are you going to do? How are you going to outscore this team? He said, we're just going to outscore this team, and we'll have to win this ball game by outscoring them.
Gabbert's got 9 for 73 on the ground. He's 11 of 13 for 98 yards for the year. So a pretty complete start for Blaine Gabbert. But now Barrow kicks it away, and off to the sideline it goes. Flores will get it at the 10 where it was dying to begin with. And downfield, open field tackle and good hustle play by Harrison. And that's Jarrell Harrison.
Well, when you look at the possessions for Kansas State in the first half, they only had 5 possessions, and they're one of their better possessions. This is the one right before the half. The only turnover of the game occurs on the last snap on a quarterback center fumble exchange. It took them a while to get on track, but once they did, they started moving the ball at will. Will Missouri make some defensive adjustments, and will Kansas State adjust to the adjustments? That's what football is all about, adjusting and adjusting to who adjusts.
Well, Colin Klein's in there. Let's see. As they put trips again and try to spread the defense. If they have adjusted. And it's an option read for Klein and a huge hole up the middle for about 20. Give him 19 on first down. And that's the way it begins. Missouri victimized just like they were in the first half.
Well, Colin Klein rushed for 79 yards in the first half, and he starts the second half off. Not even a very big fake of his own read, and he just takes it up the gut. He's keying the linebackers. When he sees how they respond to Daniel Thomas, he's just keeping the football and gashing.
And make him throw the football, Dave. Rebound Missouri's defense. They loaded up that much. Here he is, a little counter action. Now, still positive yardage. He gets out past the 40 to the 42, gain of 3. It'll be second and long, brought down by Carl Geddes as we revisit your K-State keys.
Well, Kansas State wanted to win the turnover battle. They went -1, and the -1 was a killer at the 1-yard line. Took a touchdown away from them. Crowd control. They didn't score first, but they showed resilience. And did they win field position? They did. They did big time. It was won by hitting Missouri back at the 1-yard line, and they get a short field and score a touchdown. And that was the big difference making this field position score.
Klein without Thomas in the backfield. Shifts Braden Wilson to fullback. He's running again. And he goes across the 45 to the 46. Let's look back at that final snap of the first half and watch the center as you mentioned, Dave.
Yeah, now the center is not going to block straight ahead. He's going to pull, and it changes the exchange point. Kaufman has to ride him longer. As he's pulling down the line of scrimmage, it shrinks the exchange area. And center quarterback, they've done it a million times. It's a play they've run all kinds of times in practice in the game. And when it counted most, it did not happen for them. They had an unforced error, basically.
Big third down. It'll be 3rd and 3. Opening possession for the second half for K-State, trailing by 7. Wilson the only one in the backfield. Option read for the fullback. Is that surprising? Sets up, and Missouri's defensive back comes up big. Megan Gatchkar, the linebacker, who runs like a D-back. A senior from Overland Park, Kansas.
Gatchkar very emotional to start this football game. Watch him come up and read this option. Very emotional. He knows it's his last football game in Missouri, and he says, nobody's going to crack back block on me. He gets up the football field and distorts the whole thing.
Geddes, Edwards, Wade as Missouri went after the punter. Going to be a fair catch called for. And up on the chest, it is cradled. Trying to get away from Carl Geddes, but the senior holds on. And now a flag back at the original line.
let's see what this is about. Is it pre-kick, post-kick, or what's the penalty?
Personal foul against K-State.
Wow. I wonder if it'll be added. I couldn't hear. Will it be added after the play? Will it be added onto the field position at the end? Will it come out to the 35-yard line? And it looks like it's being marked off now. 35-yard line will be the starting point instead of the 20.
Is there anything at the tail end? Yeah. Braden Wilson lifted up.
And right there,
and
the
then the
hit.
shot. Yep.
Yeah, and then another hit, and another hit.
Yep.
And here we go. We got one going on.
Now Braden Wilson lifting up. Andrew Wilson, the linebacker from Missouri, who's getting the start to the injuries today and wouldn't stop.
2 starters on special teams, very emotional football players.
So Missouri gets into their own 35. Ton of time for Gabbert, and wide open down the sideline, he overshoots. T.J. Moe. Too much, not enough air, Dave.
It's a rarity for Kansas State, as we saw, to get penalized that 15-yard personal foul penalty. And this one, just as you said, Joel, a little bit more air under it. Tried to throw it too much on a line. T.J. Moe just could not quite extend enough for it. That's only the 3rd incompletion of the game for Gabbert. He was 11 for 13 in the first half.
On 2nd down, into the secondary. It's the running back, Kendall Lawrence. And a flag at the end of the play. And that was thrown from deep in the secondary.
Yeah, and he's watching blockers on the perimeter a little bit. I wonder if he's going to call an illegal block here, or what he's going to call. Personal foul on Kansas State. Losing composure. I mean, Bill Snyder's football team does not have personal fouls occur 2 times in 3 snaps.
Well, the least penalized team you'll find in the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a good job of not self-destructing. Zimmerman makes the tackle. Then the spear right there at the end. The spear on top, the finish, and Terrence Sweeney went for the kill shot, and it cost him 15 yards.
It was Sweeney who was picked off, don't forget, by Wes Kemp on the touchdown run by Gabbert. Middle of the field's available, popped into the air and intercepted. Picked off. It's Trey Walker coming the other way, off the deflection. Gabbert through traffic. And it goes back to K-State at the 33. Zimmerman.
Yep, he forced it. And really the throw was forced a little bit. Coverage was not really, the coverage was pretty good. The play that he was trying to get wasn't there and kind of forced it in there. The protection is outstanding. They only rushed 3 and dropped 8, and that's the problem. Dropping 8 into coverage, the windows are tight, and Zimmerman comes up and breaks on the football in the old tip drill, and everybody works on it all day long in practice. Trey Walker comes up with the deflection on the tip drill. Now the turnovers are even, 1 apiece.
It goes back to Kansas State at their own 33, only down by 7.
They had 5 interceptions last week against Texas and get one here against Missouri in the second half. Both teams now have 20 takeaways on the season.
Quarles a motion man. And Kyle Klein throwing in the little dump-off vicinity for Quarles. They didn't account for the motion man. And he spun down around the clothesline, around the collar. And it's a first down. Holden on the hit.
That was just a well-designed play by Kansas State's coaching staff. Give Klein a very definitive little play fake to Thomas, and then the jet sweep, little prestidigitation, hide the football, little magic, and get it out on the perimeter. Quarles wide open as they fake the jet sweep to him as he comes across the backfield. Nobody picks him up coming out of the backfield.
Andre McDonald, the tight end, will shift to the short side of the field. 1st and 10. K-State at their own 47. They bring the blitz. And Klein running away from it. Still is slowed down after a gain of only 2. Up to the 49. It's interesting. They used that play to Quarles. And right before the interception, I was about to ask you, Gabbert going sideline to sideline. All the bubble screens has hardly thrown the ball downfield today. And when he does, he misses one on the sideline.
Right.
It's a sure touchdown if he gets him. And then throws into triple coverage.
The only one that was successful, T.J. Moe down the middle for a touchdown, and that was a big play. And he was so hot in the first half. Second half, though, the time he overthrows the open Moe and then throws into coverage. Zimmerman makes him pay. He's not off to a good start in the second half after having a dynamic first half.
Going to be second and 8. Short side option pitch. Thomas nowhere. Good pop from Gooden, the weak side backer. And now a 3rd down.
I'll tell you, this is a young man that can run, good and can fly. And that's, I'll tell you, Missouri does a good job of running to the football. Michael Sam involved also out of the defensive line. They got a bunch of guys on the edge and at the linebacker level that can flat out scoot to the football.
So a big one for Dave Steckel and his defense after the quick change off the turnover and the pick by K-State. Thomas in the backfield on third and a little more than 7. Straight drop and into coverage. It's knocked away from Andre McDonald. So he threw into coverage. Gatchkar there again, the strong side backer.
Steck likes the fact that that one's not complete. Going to his big target, 6'8", 280 pounds. It's like the Empire State Building in there and trying to just throw it in between a couple of guys sandwiching in coverage. It hit McDonald's in the hands, but he could not control it. Nice play.
Doran to punt it away. And a beauty. Geddes calling for the fair catch. And in traffic, he's got it for Missouri deep in their own territory. So the takeaway by K-State makes a tough field position now for Mizzou. Game time temperature right around 40. Chill, close to freezing. 32, 33 degrees the wind chill. 21-14 lead for Missouri, but now they've got it deep in their own territory, just shy of the 13.
Kansas State lining up in a 3-3 stack defense. 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers, 5 defensive backs in the game. The spread offense to defend it.
Kendall Lawrence, the single to the backfield, and on the delay, it is Lawrence. Short yardage, so breathing room across the 16, near the 17 for about 4. Good play by Blake Slaughter, fighting off the block and still getting the running back. He's a sophomore from Missouri City, Texas.
And when they have fewer down linemen and fewer linebackers, that means you have big bodies on smaller bodies. It's basically a nickel look with 3 down linemen and 3 linebackers running at it a little bit.
Now 2nd and 6. Empty the backfield. Gabbard looked at the shallow cross, goes and throws behind the man he looked at originally and didn't go early to, TJ Moe. They're out of sync right now.
And what Gabbard has to do is recollect himself and do his mechanics. He hurried his mechanics there. He started to vacate pocket when he really didn't have to. They only had a 3-man rush. And when he vacated the pocket, he didn't set his feet and go into his stride. You have to stride to your target. And his footwork was bad, therefore his throw was inaccurate.
Missouri gets up to the line in a hurry. And in a hurry, do they rush themselves a little bit? Now they settle in. And on 3rd down, ton of time for Gabbard. And Agnew takes a shot. Boy, the small of my back hurts after the pop by Garrett, who torpedoed him.
Garrett is active. In the first half, Garrett was involved in 5 tackles, 6 tackles. He gets after it. And he realizes my best shot is to take the legs out from under him and see if I can have the ball fall out of there when he goes to the turf. Unbelievable job by Agnew to assume control of in possession of that football.
The nation's leader among tight ends and catches, 8th best in the country in receptions. The junior from Plainview, Texas. As you said, what a job to hang on. Only a 3-man rush, so a lot of time. And Agnew, it almost was taken away. He threw Agnew into a tough spot. Garrett again in on the hit.
And you got to go up to Agnew.
Agnew's hurt.
Yeah, he got crushed. And Garrett will hit you, and you got to go up to your quarterback and say, do not lead me into that type of contact.
Yeah,
I mean,
you got to read it better.
Yeah, I mean, it's double coverage, a linebacker underneath, and maybe he never saw Garrett because he's so small out there, but he destroyed him and put a big hit on him. And Garrett's a football player now. He'll play some linebacker, he'll play some safety. He's a hybrid over there. Excellent player.
They give it off to Henry Josie. Nothing there. Maybe a yard and a half on the jet sweep you call. David Garrett again in on that play.
The series he's having. Look at, they do it by committee, and Henry Josie, he's no pussycat. That guy can play. He's going to be a big timer. Warren Lawrence we know about. And everybody gets involved. Everybody rushes for touchdowns. Yards per carry outstanding for every single member of that running back corps.
Now big snap field position wise. Missouri working into the wind. They'll have it at their backs in the 4th.
Kansas State 10 at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, bringing the blitz. Missouri picks it up. Ton of time and going into coverage. Great single coverage, in fact. Thomas Ferguson on the back of the wide receiver, TJ Moe.
and the Missouri bench, Gary Pinkel looking for interference. Gary Pinkel thought that the arrival of player was premature to arrival of football. And there is early contact right there.
He went through him.
And yeah, he did. He went through him to make a play on the football. Now, the pattern was run short of the sticks. But if they had called interference, it would have been a first down.
Still great coverage. He was on his hip every step of the way. The low line drive punt. And it's going to be Tyson Hartman taking it in. And great field position for K-State, only down by 7. We come back at their own 37. It was a wild start in the first 30 minutes of play. Missouri on top 21-14. It is still that way, at least as the scoreboard is concerned. Both teams now trying to reignite their offensive units. Welcome back to Columbia, Missouri. Joel Myers, Dave Black, Jim Knox down on the sideline. Inside of 8 left in the third. Colin Klein back in there at quarterback on the option. The read this time denied for the most part. Only a gain of 2, so they're loading it up a little bit better. Yes, Colin Klein victimized them big time as Rusono made the stop. You can see what he did. And most of that, almost all of it, is the first half, except for a 19-yard run to start the second half.
Right. He rushed the ball dynamically in the first half, averaged 9 yards a carry. And Steck said against Bill Snyder's offense, you have to break tendencies. You can't be predictable defensively. Looks like he's made some adjustments at halftime.
It'll be 2nd and 8. Loading it up again. You can see how many they put on the line of scrimmage for the option, and Thomas is going to throw it. Wide open downfield, overthrows Quarles. He had a couple of steps on the defensive back Rutland. So there's the gadget they were saving as Missouri loaded it up.
Well, you got to remember, Thomas, a former junior college quarterback, can rise up and throw the football. And almost tackled before he could throw the football. Missouri puts good pressure on. Kenji Jackson can't finalize it, but can't get the ball down the field to Quarles, who does have a couple of steps, but throwing with the wind behind his back. Remember, Gavin is throwing into the wind this quarter. He'll have the wind behind his back in the next one.
Here comes Carson Kaufman, middle of the field. It's available, and Quarles has it. First down, Kansas State at the Missouri 42. So situational substitutions down and distance for Bill Snyder.
And Carson Kaufman threw the ball well in the first half, and you've got to throw into a spot here. And he leads his receiver right into the open area. Nice little cavity. Well done by Carson Kaufman. You have to throw that ball with anticipation and accuracy. And look at this. More than 2-1. Kansas State has run the football as opposed to throwing.
Well, that was the season numbers, too. 377 were their rushing attempts. 195 passing. Now, zone read. Kaufman keeps it and spins for good yardage. About 5. Down inside the 37. Run down by Gatchkar and Wilson. Remind you, the first down line brought to you by Phillips Television. So, all of a sudden, momentum with Carson Kaufman taking over for Colin Klein. It would have continued.
And you know, when he's in the game, he gives you a dual threat. He can't run the ball like Klein, but his ankle is healthy enough. He made that little spin move to fall forward for a 5-yard gain. Physically, he's in much better shape to handle it now.
The younger brother, former tight end All-American at Mizzou, Chase Kaufman. It's 7-5.
Current Cincinnati men.
3 out there. And here comes the heat, and Kaufman's down. Osborne Smith got him, and Missouri comes away with it. Jeffrey Smith on his way, picks it up, going the distance. Touchdown, Mizzou.
Carson Kaufman is hurt. He's down injured at about the 41-yard line, but you have a sack, strip, recovery, touchdown. Carson Kaufman might have gotten the wind knocked out of him, Joel. Struggling on all fours down there. You talk about a takeaway that's painful. Kansas State has had 2 of them. Center quarterback exchange right before the half. And the backside, Alden Smith comes on the backside. Carson Kaufman never feels him, never sees him. Hits him right in the middle of his back, jackknifes him. Ball comes out of there. You can't fight. You can't basically fault him for lack of ball security. A great play made by an outstanding pass rusher. Sack, forced fumble. One Smith causes it. The other Smith picks it up. So the Smith brothers meet at the quarterback. One forces the fumble. One picks it up and scores. And we've seen Smith run chasing Daniel Thomas down. Jackie Smith can run, and he did right there.
So the turnovers impacting Kansas State. They did it to themselves at the end of the first half. This time just a great play, and they're reviewing it to see if Jackie Smith was down.
And yeah, was he down?
Right, he picked it up,
right,
and he did not have his knee down. That's why it was being reviewed.
Right.
And the call stands.
Now, is Kaufman, how badly is he injured? You know, that's a big key. Will they be one-dimensional? If Kaufman can't continue to play in this football game, he's basically their passing attack.
Wrestle for the point after. And now Missouri has their biggest lead of the day. They are up by 2 touchdowns. 5:34 to play. So it's not the Missouri offense that comes up big on senior day. Right now, it's the defensive unit making the big ones.
Misses the shoulder, hits him in the helmet. Could have been called, but it wasn't seen. In that one-on-one rush, Kendall has no help whatsoever. He gets beaten. Alden Smith separates it. Not his brother, but his brother with the same name recovers it to a touchdown.
Man, they keep it on the ground again. Man, it's going to be taken by one of the up. Across the 40 for Kansas State. It is Jared Wright. And we go downstairs to Jim Knox. Knoxy.
All right, Joe, the good news on Kansas State sideline, Carson Kaufman will be all right. They were checking out his ribs, but he got up. He's no longer in a great deal of pain. He's going to be back in, guys. And on the other sideline, Michael Agnew, the big tight end, he'll return. Just got the breath knocked out of him.
All right. It's interesting that Missouri's kicking on the ground like this and kicking away, even though William Powell, one of the great return men of the country, is not even on the trip.
I think they like the way Kansas State blocks their kickoff returns. You know, Gary Pinkel talked about it. He said Kansas State does as good a job blocking.
We talked to him yesterday about it.
And John Hubert, well, look at this thing.
It's picked up again, and it's going to be Missouri on the ground with the football. They take it away. Carl Geddes has it.
Kansas State tried to run the gadget, and the gadget blew up. Back-to-back turnovers. Kansas State now is -2. Last week they were +5 against Texas. Now they're -2 on the road. You can't turn the football over on the road, and Coach Bill Snyder knows that as well or better than anybody. And watch this. Klein, it's the fumble-rooski. He basically just puts the football between his running back's legs. And Hubert loses control of the football. Ball's on the ground.
Geddes was on top of it.
Well, Geddes did a good job because they were hiding Hubert behind the massive offensive line. Everybody else in the defense couldn't find him.
Now Missouri's got it. 1st and 10 at the Kansas State 45 in the seam. It's up to 1st down inside the 20. Good adjustment and read by Agnew. The defensive back was there, and so was linebacker Trey Walker, but he had the recognition.
Yeah, and you know, little bunch deal, and now you've got the defense stressed. Got away with a little pull to separate a little bit, did Agnew. I mean, the coverage wasn't all that bad down the football field. He created a little separation by pulling that little tug action.
5 to play in the 3rd. Man, so Reed gathered good yardage on 1st down. Took the shot. David Garrett, it seems like he's an equal opportunity hitter. A junior from Cleveland out of Fort Scott Community College. Garrett's very involved in this game, regardless of who he's laying it on.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, in the first half, this kid made 6 tackles, and I bet he's got 4 already in the 3rd quarter. He has got a nose for the football. Very instinctive player.
Going to be second a little more than 5 outside the 15. They bunch him on the wide side. And it's going to be Joseph. He made it back up the middle. was short of the first down by a yard and a half. Henry Josie, the freshman we've talked about at 5'10", 180. Marcus Murphy, another true freshman out of DeSoto, Texas. He was at 5'9", 170. You throw in Kendall Lawrence, a sophomore, at 5'9", 190. And then there's the starter, Devin Moore. So there's talent, there's depth now that they have not had in the backfield.
And what you've got going on, Kansas State self-destruction has been so painful. Fumble at the 1-yard line going in right before the half to score.
Devin Moore takes over.
And then the forced fumble touchdown, defensive score, unscripted score. And then this final turnover.
Bunching it over to the right side. Making a miss is Moore. He's right at the marker. It'll be inches short if he doesn't have it, but it looks like, let's see where they put it down. Ooh, looks inches short.
Yeah, it is. It's a little bit short. Will they go here? Looks like they're going to try to punch it in. They feel like they've got momentum. Gary Pinkel's going for the jugular.
You got a 6'5" quarterback.
And you got an offensive line
but they very rarely go under center.
Yeah, but they could on this quarterback sneak for sure, obviously. And they're going to go up to the line of scrimmage quickly, and they got a center that will come off the ball.
Gabbard's got a little gap over to the left side. He goes right side. And
Early.
Moved.
Yep.
False start. He got the first down.
Now it's 4th and 6. And you might kick the field goal now. Might be prudent to do so. Make it a 3-score game.
False start. Offense, number 71, 5-yard penalty. Fourth down.
Guard, Palmgren.
Yeah, you can't have those kind of mistakes because they did have the first down. You have to hold your water. At the left guard position, he's going to be blocked up a little bit. There he is leaning. Kind of leaning forward at the line of scrimmage as well. A couple of guys were leaning before the snap of the football.
Now wrestle. 32-yard attempt on its way. And he is 16 of 18 in the season, a first-team All-Big 12 performer last year in that direction again this season, and they get points off the turnover. Yeah. It's 3 on the 32-yarder.
And let's take a look at what Kansas State was trying to do. Bill Snyder's got John Hubert, who's 5'7". 5'7". Quarterback puts the ball between the 5'7" running back's legs. And here it is, right between his legs. The offensive line trying to hide him, and the recognition is outstanding. Madison and Carl Geddes find him, and they take the football away from him. Unbelievable play by Missouri's defense. Now, his team was down when he took the ball away, couldn't advance it. But, man, they sniffed out that gadget play and blew it up.
And that's why they looked at the return by Jack Smith. They wanted to see if his knee was down on the touchdown return of 53 yards. So 10 straight points off mistakes by K-State. And that's why Missouri now is up by 17. Gabbard on the phone. 2:57 to play. He made a nice throw to Edgar. Hubert, Lawrence, waiting. It'll be Hubert back at the 8. Now they kick it deep. Does it work against Missouri? The return game and a nice trip inside the 20. Saved it for Missouri. And making the play for the Tigers, Terrell Harrison. So FoxSportsMidwest.com. Head over there right now. You're on the line. You're on the internet. We know that. Today's game is covered from every angle. Fox Sports Midwest, they've got Mizzou and K-State fans logged in right now to chat with the Fox Sports writers. Other fans in the Steel Game Lounge. That's all on FoxSportsMidwest.com. So let your voice be heard and log in right now. So Missouri with points off the takeaway by Geddes. And now K-State. They've got it at their own 26. Toss sweep. Thomas has not had that many touches today. He is denied at the 29. And pushed back after a gain of about 3. But all of a sudden, you've taken their best weapon potentially out of the game to the extent they'd like to use it.
Well, and they've got Klein in the game at quarterback down 3 scores, and he's not throwing. So, you know, Kaufman's on the sideline and probably still a little bit dinged up. But Bill Snyder's not going to throw his game plan out the window. He's going to stay with the running game and make Steck and Missouri defense defend it. They're still capable of gashing you for big plays in the running game. You still have to hit your gaps.
A little more than 17 minutes left in the game, and it's on the ground again, but Thomas has it bounced back up like a basketball. What a break.
Ooh, fortuitous bounce.
It'll be 3rd and long, but they're shell-shocked right now the way they're exchanging the football.
Man, I'll tell you, I wonder if he was fighting this one. You know, it's a zone read, and he puts the right hand on it and swats it away from Klein. I mean, I think Klein wanted to pull it out of there and maybe run with it, but as Daniel Thomas went to clamp down on the football, he knocked the ball out of Klein's possession with his right hand. So
Here's Brad Madison, who leads him in sacks, but that belonged to Smith again.
Alden Smith had a broken leg. He missed a few games with a cracked leg. And I'll tell you, right now, it's great for a defensive coordinator like Steck. Look at it. He beating the guard. He beat the left guard, Kendall, this time Mayfield. They're moving him inside to defensive tackle in the nickel. Not playing defensive end. He's killing the guards inside one-on-one.
Dorr with a good one. Van Geddes lets it hit. And that's rare because it came up and it cost him about 15 yards. So Alden Smith, Brad Madison making noise defensively. 56 seconds left. We remind you, our Lock Impact Player of the Week presented by Acura. It could be one of the Tigers, the way they're playing in the second half defensively. But it is Kelvin Shepard after that huge win over Alabama last week. 7 stops, a pick, a fumble recovery. He did everything. Tigers senior linebacker from Stone Mountain, Georgia.
You know, the good thing, Alden Smith with the injury, the silver lining was Michael Sam and Brad Madison showed they could rush the passer. So when Smith comes back, they move him into
Gabbard deep down the middle, wide open, taken in. Rolundus Woodman, the sophomore from St. Louis. First down, Missouri.
Laid out for that one, and again, Gabbard throwing into the wind, can't put as much air under it as he probably would like. He has to try to stick him with it because he is fighting the wind this quarter, and he put the ball right on the money. Could not quite keep his balance or he's gone.
From the 26 of K-State. Missouri trying to throw the haymaker now with 30 seconds left in the third. Delay, Devin Moore, left side, gets the kick out. Gets the first down. Goes out of bounds at about the 15 of Kansas State. Another touchdown here, and maybe too much for K-State to recover from.
Well, Missouri is undefeated at home. Missouri's lost 2 in a row on the road. They're glad to be back home. And now they've got a lead. Look at that. Look at T.J. Moe come off the line of scrimmage and get a block. Look at the linemen at the next level, at the linebacker level, getting their block. Nice job by Dan Hope.
Dan Hope was out there leading the way. That's a big guy at 6'7", 315.
I'll tell you, T.J. Moe came off the slot receiver position and knocked the defensive back 5 yards. That kid is nothing but tough.
Moe, as in TJ, momentum belongs to Missouri. As in Emmo, Columbia, Missouri. And Hegman making great grabs along the way. But it's the defense that has stood out here in the third to spark it all on senior day. And Missouri with a commanding lead now after 3 as you're watching Big 12 College Football Saturday, presented by Phillips Television.
Play selection, maybe even more than that. When he ran the ball, it might have been a design pass.
There goes Moe in motion, weaving his way, trying to make a miss. Good moves, and he loses the football. One of the lugs was behind him, though. I consider you a lug, and I think he got
it. That's an athlete.
Yes.
That's Hoke.
Is that Hoke again?
Yeah.
6'7", 315. We just saw him on a kick-out block.
Yeah. Leading
Devin Moore for a nice run for a first down. And, boy, hey, I want him on my side. Can he run?
Hoke's no slow poke. I tell you, man, it's almost like T.J. Moe laterals it to him.
Nice block, too.
A nice strip. And Hoke, I'll tell you what, that's an alert football player. And when you hustle, good things happen for you.
Well, Jackson with a real nice block. Gabbard's got time, and he's got a touchdown. Going to the little guy again, T.J. Moe. Senior day continues to be a celebration in Columbia.
Watch more. Watch this blitz pickup. Boom! Knock him on the ground, my man. Take him down to the turf. That's blitz pickup. That's keeping your quarterback clean.
Nice adjustment.
And that's giving him a good opportunity to find a window to throw the ball.
Wrestled for the point after. You wouldn't have believed this was a 21-14 game midway through the third, would you? It has exploded and disintegrated for K-State in the last 8 minutes.
Turnovers are coffin nails, particularly on the road.
38-14, Missouri.
block by Wes Kemp that was extraordinary. He goes down the football field deep again to Woodland. Woodland can't quite keep his balance, but stretches the football field. He goes back to Moe. In the red zone, you go to T.J. Moe. Touchdown receptions for Moe. And look at how he sprayed the football around. 3 different guys have 4 more catches. Moe's got the 2 touchdown receptions off his 4 receptions.
Barrow out of Moberly, Missouri will kick it away. Quarles and Hubert back deep. And a good one. Over the head of Quarles into the end zone on a hop and a touch pass. Kansas State with a long field and a long 14:25 left in the 4th.
Kansas State, the first thing they have to do, as the fans have a little fun, is they have to hold on to the football. So they can't give extra possessions to Missouri. I mean, that's exactly what they're doing. They're taking possessions away from themselves and giving them to Missouri.
Scores around the league as the Tigers are on top here. You see Colorado at the break. First game without Dan Hawkins.
Ryan Cabral, interim head coach, got a 10-point lead at the half.
Texas Tech, Oklahoma, A&M, Baylor, Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma State, at Texas. But the Cowboys do it on the road now.
That's going to be key.
From the 20, Carson Kaufman in there at quarterback. Heat after the play fake. And up for grabs and intercepted. Picked off. Jasper Simmons. Another takeaway. It hung up a little bit on the crossing pattern.
Yeah, and he read the eyes of the quarterback Kaufman, and Jasper Simmons knows when Kaufman rolls out, it restricts the field that he can throw to from about the hash mark out. Kaufman zeroed in on his receiver. Simmons undercuts it. Ball's underthrown slightly. Simmons reads it, reads the quarterback's eyes, takes him right to the football, and he only has to defend a third of the football field when you change the launch point to get out of pocket like that. Another takeaway, another short field.
They get her to the K-State 39. Disbelief. Those in purple with it. Underneath Moe. Guy never takes the easy way, does he? He doesn't mind contact. He doesn't mind congestion. The sideline was there. He gets sandwiched, takes an extra 3 or 4 yards down to the 35, gain of 4. Childs on the hit.
He seeks contact. He seeks it out. And you know, last week, Kansas State +5. 5 interceptions, and they didn't turn it over. Just the reverse today. They've got 1 takeaway, and they turned it over, what, 4 or 5 times now?
The third here in the last 9 minutes. Middle of the field. Tough throw. We talk about a Sunday arm. He's got Wes Kemp for the completion, but he's got a small window to get it there.
And Trey Walker, Joel, the linebacker, was the guy underneath. Watch number 50, Trey Walker, just cannot quite get there. You're right. I mean, he has to put it over the linebacker in front of the safety like right now. That window was closing.
Bill Snyder wants a timeout. So Missouri's last drive took 77 yards, 91 seconds, only 4 snaps. They're mowing him down again. By the way, he's got 2 touchdowns today. 13:30 left in the contest. Andrew Luck and number 6 Stanford. It's a lot of fun in the Bay Area. Under the lights playing Gabbert now, these same Tigers taking on Iowa State in Ames. We'll be at the Pizza Pit. It all kicks off at 12 Eastern, 9 Pacific. Yeah, a flag with a false start coming up out of the timeout. We were just talking about
offense,
how small that window was for Blaine Gabbert. And what a throw he made.
Yeah, he put some RPMs on this one, showing arm strength. Watch, Felder, the defensive end, number 40, gets by his hands on a zone blitz. Watch number 50, Trey Walker, the linebacker, gets by his hands. He hits his receiver Kemp before the safety Hartman could get there. That's got some velocity on it right there.
That's called a major league arm.
It's called a fastball in the black.
It's 1st and 15 for the Tigers outside of the 24. And they wrap up Lawrence in a hurry. Gain of maybe a couple of yards at the most. They were spoiled. Chase Daniel, Brad Smith go back to before Chase Daniel. So when people say, well, what about Gabbert? Well, don't forget, you've been spoiled as well. And this senior class with a win today is the winningest senior class. They've tied the school record.
Yeah, and that was last year's senior class. So it shows that Missouri football, the bar has been raised, and they're meeting it. They're meeting the expectation.
And they've still got 2 regular season games to top it. Now, a ton of time for Gabbert. We've already seen him run effectively. Slide. Gets a late block and a flag with a block in the back. And it came from Jackson, the wide receiver.
Trying to help your quarterback. You know, he's hustling. Now, you can't, the defender cannot turn his back to him late.
There's no foul for block in the back.
Right.
Side block.
And the defender cannot turn his back to him late. And if that's what he did, the flag was picked up.
I think that's why they picked it up, David.
And Gabbard does a good job, though. I mean, he's not going to force anything. He's gonna tuck it and run and get everything he can out of it. Kansas State, though, Joel, the last possession of the first half turnover. 3 out of their first 4 in the second. 4 out of the last 5 possessions turn the ball over. You can't beat anybody, never mind a Big 12 team on the road like that. Another false start. Receivers.
False start. Offense, number 82. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
That's the trips over to the far side with Agnew. Well, we talked about the accomplishment of this senior class with 37 wins. Okay, 38 today.
Right.
2 more. And don't forget, if they win out, they'll be only the second team in Missouri history since 1969 to have 2 or fewer losses. Yep. The 69 class went to the Orange Bowl and lost in a struggle on New Year's night by a touchdown to Penn State. The Nittany Lions, they had Terry McMillan, the quarterback. Now, Gabbard brings it down, looking into the end zone. He had a man, and now he's in trouble. He's out of the tackle box, and he got a block in the back and falls down. Couldn't stand prosperity when he saw it in front of him. Well, flag late.
Yeah, and Hoke had the block, a peel back block. He got a block, but then there's a flag down the football field. You know, was there holding, illegal contact down the field? Because
well, Missouri.
Offensive PI.
After the play, personal foul, offense number 8. Hit after the play, 15-yard penalty, 4th down.
Late hit West Kemp. He had the big block. He had the decleater block, and he was looking for more. He was hunting for more game out there.
Dead ball foul, 2.
And West Kemp, you know, he's a very physical football player. There's the block, and here comes West Kemp, and he says, my quarterback there again, I'm going to pick up Garrett. And he was down. He didn't hit him in the back, but he hit him late. The play was blown dead, and he didn't blow Garrett up. He should have just pulled off totally. He was debating it. He knew he shouldn't have done it.
Matt Grabner with a rare punt today. Man, the fair catch is called for and taken in. So K-State gets it back. We've got 11:31 in Columbia. And the Tigers in control. We go out into the community and offer and donate our time. He said Corey Adams is a guy that stands out. He's always the first to volunteer.
He is, and he's a 3.5 plus student. He's never had a bad snap. Semifinalist for the Campbell Trophy, which is the academic Heisman senior class award candidate. This guy is somebody that I've never heard Bill Snyder say the best I've ever seen. And he said this about Corey Adams, the best deep snapper I've ever seen. Bill Snyder does not give that kind of praise. This kid's special. He's going to be in the NFL on Sunday snapping for a long time.
He just talked about what a quality person he was more than anything else, more than his football. As Klein is back in there, Colin Klein, and like he did in the first half, running effectively on a little counter action with the zone read out to the 31, pushed out by Jasper Simmons. So there are so many of these young men who get out in their community, and not just Corey Adams, but we wanted to point that out because it is significant what they bring.
They have time management figured out, and they're giving back to the community. They understand how fortunate they are, and they want to share in that fortune.
Out of the gun, Klein's in there. Carson Kaufman, we saw earlier, just picked off. 4-man rush and thrown at the feet of Quarles. Good kind of a shoestring grab as he's right at the first down marker. Let's check in with Jim Knox. Jim?
You know, a little bit more about Corey Adams. I was talking to him before the game, and he says he actually works about an hour a day on snapping. He said his high school coach told him, hey, you can get a scholarship just by deep snapping. He said, are you kidding me, coach? And then from there on, he worked an hour a day. Look where he is now.
Yeah, he's special. He does gun it back there with precision and velocity, and that's what you need.
Well, there are plenty of guys that have been 15 years in the NFL with good service in the NFL, and that's all they've ever done.
Yeah, total specialist.
Little draw action. Man, read better that time. Coming up, Simmons, the free safety. So it'll be 2nd and long, 2nd and about 7 after the gain of 3. 1st and 10 line brought to you all afternoon by Phillips Television says we have 10 minutes left on the final day at home for the seniors. 15 seniors honored, and Gary Pinkel very emotional. As he told us yesterday when we spent some time with the Mizzou head coach, he said Andy Hill came up with the idea that he be the guy to greet them and send them off onto the field for the final time as Quarles gets it and is popped out of bounds short of the first down. And he said, great. He goes, now I'm an emotional wreck and 5 minutes from kickoff. I got to get ready. And when Jim Knox talked to him, you could see there were tears in his eyes.
No question. I mean, he's greeting all of them individually. And this is family. I mean, these kids come to him when they're 18 years old. They're leaving their families for the first time. And the football family becomes their family for the next 4 or 5 years. They're brothers. I mean, they're brothers, and their coaches are like their dads, like their extended dads. It's very emotional. I remember my senior day like it was yesterday, and I mean, you live and die with those guys.
30 yard. Klein will get it. It's to the 47. So this is going to be 6 consecutive wins on senior day for the University of Missouri. They've got a good thing going with Gary Pinkel. Remember what happened 10 years ago before he arrived.
Yeah,
and now he's the 3rd all-time winningest coach and about to overtake in the next year or two Dan Devine.
And what you do on senior day is you funnel and channel the energy positively. You use it to amp you up. You feed off the crowd. You feed off your teammates. It's a special day if you use it the right way, and Missouri has figured it out.
Inside of 9 to play with the clock rolling. Wilson gets an opportunity, and they want to keep the clock moving now. It's to the 45, gain of 2 for the big fullback. So they took Daniel Thomas effectively out of the game. Now the turnovers had something to do with it.
Oh yeah. Well,
but Missouri did a fairly decent job early on Thomas to begin with.
Well, and if Kansas State scores right before the half, it's a totally different dynamic. It's a tie football game. Momentum changed on that fumble quarterback center exchange problem. I mean, changed big time, and Kansas State never recovered, and Missouri supported on.
Option wide side. Man, there's Geddes chopping out the legs of the quarterback, Colin Klein.
He gets up slowly, but he gets up, and this is the key play. This is right before the half. I mean, they're going at the score, and they pull the center. I mean, I don't know. It's at the 1 yard line. They're pulling the linemen. I think you just fire out straight ahead and just let the quarterback go over the top and let 20 running backs go over the top. And the center pulls, and he constricts the exchange area and puts it on the ground.
That came with 22 seconds left in the first half. A significant and dramatic moment in this game. Klein weaves his way into the 35. He's got the first down on 3rd and about 2-3. Brought down and tripped up by Gooden.
And when you turn the football over, right now the game is out of hand a little bit. Bill Snyder's not necessarily playing just for this football game. He's working on things for the other football games left this season. He still wants to fine-tune and make his running game and everything more precise. Bill Snyder is always the consummate coach thinking ahead.
First down from the 35. Thomas, the deep single. And they'll throw wide open over the middle. Inside the 10, touchdown. It is Adrian Hilburn for K-State.
Little play action. Nice little deal off the zone read, play action pass. You know, it's not rocket science. If you can get something going in the running game with your quarterback, and then just the little play action fake. And Daniel Thomas is a guy that if you put it in his belly, linebackers are going to close to the line of scrimmage. If you get your running game going with your quarterback and your running back, and you play action fake off of it, it's available to you to throw the football.
Couldn't ask for a better decoy than Thomas, could you?
No, I mean, you have to respect the fact that if it's in there even only for a moment, you have to freeze a little bit because you may have to come downhill.
Going for 2 with Thomas in the backfield. Can they get it to 16? Yes, Thomas will get there. So a 2-score game with 6:55 to play because 2 touchdowns, 2 two-point conversions. Bill Snyder looking ahead on the sideline.
No question. And Carl Geddes tried to come in low to take on Daniel Thomas, and Daniel Thomas said, nah, no, not going to happen. But nice little touchdown pass right here. Watch Thomas. Watch Geddes. Wants to take him low. Plays Edwin Moses. How about a little hurdle in action for the 2-point conversion? assume that it's definitely going to be an onside kick. They kick it deep. You got to get back there and make some blocks, but you would think Kansas State would onside kick or do a hard, squib kick, try to bounce it off somebody. See what happens here. If Missouri recovers the football, though, they're going to have a short field to negotiate.
K-State has 2 timeouts left. Missouri with all 3 on the board.
Missouri has 9 players in a little 5-yard area here. They've got 2 receivers deep.
Do you kick it away, or do you go onside here if you're Bill Snyder? You only have 2 timeouts, not 3.
Yeah, your defense hasn't stopped anybody.
And here's the onside kick, and a good one. Holding Smith up. Who came up with it, though? Kansas State is saying they have the football. A great onside kick.
It was perfect. They hit the ground and it bounced high.
And K-State says they've got it. It was a jump ball.
Yeah, it was.
Egnew was there.
And
who wins the battle, the wrestling match?
And there's a flag where they offside at the 30-yard line. Kansas State may have been offside. It might be a moot point.
Yeah, Kemp is already saying they're offside.
Agnew's got it anyway. Agnew comes out of there with the football.
Offside. Kicking team, number 50. 5-yard penalty, Rick kick.
So Kansas State just drove 9 plays, 86 yards with a 35-yard touchdown pass to
and Trey Walker's offside. And it looks like it's going to be right here, a little bit ahead of it, and he gets over the line before the ball is kicked. Man, and the ball is kicked into the ground hard. You get the high bounce, and up you go. Agnew 6'6", trying to get up there and compete. And Zimmerman came down with the football, and you just drive it to the ground, and you get that high bounce. You can't fair catch it because the ball's already hit the ground. People are like, why don't you fair catch that? You can't. If you drive the ball off the ground, fair catch is out of play. It's a great tactic.
Can you get your lob wedge to drop like that?
Really? And Bill Snyder, uncharacteristic. His football team, couple of personal fouls. They're offside.
Penalties too.
Yeah, they're offside, covering the onside kick. Uncharacteristic to be self-destructing by penalty.
The least penalized team in the Big 12.
Yeah.
And making mistakes like that.
And amongst the fewest penalized in the nation.
All over again. Same result. Well, a little pooch this time. And it's loose. And Missouri may have gotten a break. It was a scramble, but 2 Tigers were there, and they've got the football, and now flags.
Yeah, ripping players off of the pile up before
Walker was into it.
Yeah, and he was ripped off the pile by Josie. I don't know who they're going to penalize, or if it'll be offsetting or whatever the case may be, but it's hard to recover 2 onside kicks in a row, and they tried to go with the mortar kick and get it over those 9 players and in front of the 2 return guys and let it hit the ground. It's live there. Once it goes 10 yards, it's live.
So Walker and Egnew,
After the play, personal foul, receiving team, unnecessary roughness, number 29. 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's Jackson. Normally you don't find the wide receivers getting called for unnecessary roughness, personal fouls.
Kemp got one, and now Jackson gets one. And again, just trying to
There's the break off Josie,
yeah.
And it went to 2 Tigers.
And falls on the football, total possession covered up, and there it is right there, peeling players off of the pile is the unnecessary roughness.
So Missouri now tries to choose some clock at their own 32, which is not their MO. Let's face it, they just had a 90-second drive, 77 yards. Gabbard, the zone read. Look at Ivan. He's got another first down and hangs on to it. Out to the 44 as we head to a Phillips Television game break with Darren Horton. Darren?
Joel in Evanston. Iowa's chances of sniffing the rose pretty much wilted today. Dan Purser with 2 touchdowns in the air, 1 on the ground. Wildcats pull off the upset 21-17. Joel?
Wow. Well, it's Northwestern has taken everybody deep into the 4th, and they haven't lost that many to begin with, but they have been very tough on opponents.
Fitzgerald is getting it done. Former linebacker for Gary Barnett, head coach now, getting it done.
Missouri milking the play clock. Devin Moore banged right out of the backfield. They faked the jet with Josie. So now Kansas State's got to think about using their 2 timeouts, especially when you stop them after a 2-yard gain.
Who would have thought going into this game, Gabbard may have been closing in on 100 yards rushing. I mean, Gabbard
1,000,000 to 1 odds.
Yeah, I mean, Gabbard in the first half had 70 yards rushing.
13 for 94 for Blaine Gabbert.
Okay, who would have thunk that one? I mean, that's just incredible.
They don't post those.
And it's a dynamic that Missouri added to it. Some of them were called run plays by the quarterback, and some he just scrambled when there was nowhere to go with the football thrown.
2nd and 10 for Gabbert with an empty backfield. And he's throwing on 2nd down. Behind, low and away to Wes Kemp, a junior from DeSmet High School in St. Louis.
Nice job by Tim Barnes, the center.
That was a surprise they were throwing that early. I would have thought they'd wait till 3rd down.
Barnes came out of his position at the snap the football, and we used to call it a Molly technique, where he came all the way outside, picked up the outside rush guy, kept his quarterback clean, showing good movement skills after the snap of the football.
This is his 38th consecutive start. The senior from Longwood, Missouri. Gabbert, another quarterback read. Man looking for a block. He'll get it now to the 48. So they keep the clock going, but short of the 1st down as Garrett drops the quarterback. So a punt coming up for Missouri. They'll get it off with about 4:40-45 to play.
Gabbert closing in tighter and tighter on that 100-yard mark. Who would have thought he was going to rush for a century?
One shy. One shy.
Yeah.
So Missouri and Kansas State came in side by side at the Big 12 North. As now it's a 4th and 3 for Gary Pinkel and his squad. Man, they're going to take the timeout.
Yep.
Take it all the way down to 4:40. 4:39 they'll stop it. It's still rolling, so they'll put some time back. So can they catch Nebraska? Well, Nebraska, of course, has the tiebreaker with Missouri. They're a game ahead plus the tiebreaker after beating Missouri in head-to-head competition.
Right. And will those kids catch a cold that were there with no shirts on? I mean, that's unbelievable, too.
But looking ahead for Missouri, a test next week at Iowa State. And Iowa State at home is a different team than Iowa State on the road.
Yeah, they had Nebraska beaten, couldn't quite finish it. Then they finish up with Kansas. They got the border war at Arrowhead. We've got that football game. Iowa State's going to be a massive, massive game for them.
And then Nebraska. Now Nebraska, a difficult challenge at A&M. But can Missouri get out from either Kansas or Colorado? And Kansas today a prohibitive underdog at Nebraska.
And one thing about college football this season, expect the unexpected. There are no gimmies anymore.
Now they go after the punter, who sends out a wobbler over the head of Zimmerman. And Missouri can't keep it in play. Got there, just didn't send it back.
Hobson couldn't release it once he got his hands on it and got into the end zone.
So still alive for Kansas State with 2 timeouts on the board. Ran the ball out to their own 20-yard line. What's left for Kansas State? Well, they've still got Colorado in Boulder next week, and they close also on the road. So this is the start of a 3-game road trip.
Right.
And an interesting finish to the season at North Texas and Denton.
Well, they finished strong at home by knocking Texas off. They're up 39-0, trying to carry over momentum. It didn't carry over, but you got to think that North Texas game should be theirs.
Carson Kaufman behind his intended target. He's trying to hit Chris Harper, the sophomore from Wichita.
And once you qualify for a bowl, you want to build on that to get a better bowl. So that's where Kansas State is. That's where Missouri is. That's where a lot of these Big 12, half of the Big 12 is qualified. Now they want to enhance and improve their position in bowl standings.
And that's why Missouri wants that 3-game winning streak to close it out to get to 10 wins. 2nd and 10. Kaufman checking off at the line. Blitz off the edge. Man, dropped by Quarles. That was Wilson coming in, so he got rid of it, and he got it to Quarles. Big 12 South, Oklahoma State, well, in great shape. But can they win at Texas? The challenge later today.
And they've had crazy games against Texas. Many times Oklahoma State has had big leads and blown it at home and on the road against Texas.
Man, how about A&M? At 3-2, only a game back in the Big 12 South. Tannehill has surprised everybody the way he's taken over at quarterback.
And how about a kid that is just a team player, has never said boo when he's gotten his opportunity, has stepped up.
3rd and 10. Ton of time for Kaufman. Quarles is there, and he's got the 1st down. The drive is alive. 4:13. Stops the clock with a movement of the chain. So never discount a Bill Snyder team.
Now, one thing they're not going to do is spit the bit. Bill Snyder will not allow it. Bill Snyder competes every single snap of every single football game, and he expects nothing less from his football team at all times.
And we saw how good they are on specials with the onside kick. Here comes Heat. Kaufman spinning away. Elusive. Carson Kaufman doing a great job and getting a block from his wide receiver. Great block by Chris Harper.
It sure was. And I'll tell you, talk about spinning and getting injured. The guy that he blocked got picked off and got hurt. He didn't see it coming, and man, when you're exposed like that, it can do a number on you. And Harrison got numbered. But Madison had the spin move that got the initial pressure, and the spin move by Madison inside made Carson Kaufman leave the pocket. And Harrison just focused so much on Kaufman, never sees the peel back block, and here it is, ba-boom. I mean, you're picked off, and right there, you just. Picks off Madison as well. You get 2 for 1. Why not? Go bowling for dollars right there.
That shoulder's a brick wall.
Man.
So fortunately, Harrison okay. A little groggy, but okay. It's easy for us to say up here.
Yeah. I've been covering interceptions in the past, and you got to keep your head on a swivel because those defensive players like to take an ear hole shot at you, boy. They like to knock you off your feet.
Now K-State 2nd and 6 after all that running by Carson Kaufman. He gets 4. Here comes the Heat again. Kaufman felt it. Madison's held. He gets him anyway. Boy, he was held by the lineman, but Brad Madison gets the sack. He had a half a sack earlier. He leads the Tigers, make it 6.5 on the season now.
Well, he had 3 of them down at Texas A&M, and he had from both sides of the defensive line, and Madison on the edge. He did a little spin move to cause pressure on Kaufman last time. This time, just straight up the football field. So he's got the offensive tackle guessing. The last time he spun inside, that time he just went off the edge.
Oh, nice little slip. Daniel Thomas. On the shovel pitch across the 50. Missouri scrambled and recovered very well because Daniel Thomas could have taken it the distance on a play like that inside of 3 and made it real interesting.
And that's a good call because if it's not complete, it's not a fumble. It's an incompletion, so it's a safe call.
Here's the ball game. 4th and 3.
Daniel Thomas was corralled pretty well by the Missouri defense today.
Kaufman, can he get the 3? Yes, and a lot more for Quarles. Breaking tackles. He's got a first down to the Missouri 36. Thrown with authority on the short one in front of Jackson.
Well, the thing about the Kansas State football team is every single day it's a competition for your job with Bill Snyder. So this is nothing new for him. You know, no matter what the situation, Bill Snyder expects your best effort and your total focus.
2+ to play. Pocket starting to collapse. Kaufman eludes it again. And underneath, going for Quarles. It's defended well by Jackson, and we had to wait to see if there was a flag because it was defended that well. You wonder if he got there early.
And there's no question Kaufman has to be in the football game now. The fly in the ointment for Colin Klein is obviously he's a one-dimensional guy. He doesn't have command of the passing attack part of the offense that Carson Kaufman does. He gives his team the best opportunity to score the football now for sure.
Kaufman 8 of 15. He's already been sacked 3 times. Picked off once. Here comes the Heat from the outside. Spun around and on his way down. The pressure on the outside gets to Kaufman. Michael Sam. Well, the redshirt freshman out of Hitchcock, Texas.
We talked about it. When Smith was out, Sam and Madison showed they could rush. So Smith comes back. They move him inside the defensive tackle, get mismatches on guards. When you can rush 4 and drop 7, like they did on that play, that's a coordinator's dream.
3rd and about 16. And there's the shovel pitch again. Huge hole up the middle for Daniel Thomas. He's got the first down. So they knew once they used it, it was pretty close to a big strike the last time.
Yeah, and Bill Snyder's going to go for it. And if he doesn't get it all, he's going to get a big chunk. He'll go for it on 4th down. Doesn't need 4th down. And he moves the chains on 3rd down.
Still 2 timeouts on the board as the clock is rolling on K-State. And it's batted back. There was heat in the face. Alden Smith was there. And also helping him out on that play, Marvin Foster. But it probably was Alden Smith, number 85.
And Alden Smith inside has got some height to him. So going against the guard, watch the big guy. He looks like a big old tower inside. Get your hands up, young man, and spike that ball to the turf. Looks like a volleyball player over the net.
2nd and 10 for Kaufman. Quarles is available. Breaks the tackle.
Oh,
touchdown K-State.
Wow.
Minute 11 to play. Get ready for the onside kick, but first, they've got to get the 2-point conversion.
They sure do. They got to get it done on the 2-point conversion, and they got it done before, as Daniel Thomas got a little Edwin Moses in him and hurdled over the defender for the 2-point conversion. But boy, if they can get this done, it's a 1-score game, an 8-point, and you never ever discount the professor. Bill Snyder is as good a football coach as there is in the country.
He's the dean of Big 12 coaches. Nobody has more years in the conference than Bill Snyder. After that short 3-year break, back, this is his 2nd season. And now, the ball game again for K-State. Thomas Wilson to the backfield, Quarles in motion. Move the pocket for Kaufman. And looking back to the tight end. Dropped! McDonald had it.
It was a great call, a throwback pass. It's a roll to the right, throwback pass to the tight end. 6 foot 8 inch, 280-pound tight end McDonald is available. Kaufman puts it out there in his hands. McDonald cannot finalize, and no one feels worse about it than he does right now. Watch all the action, go to the right, and McDonald is going to slide out. There he is on a little throwback, shallow cross throwback pass. The ball is there, the coverage is too late. Geddes can't make a play on it, but McDonald can't catch it. Can't get 2 hands on it, unfortunately, for Kansas State.
So the disappointment of the Kansas State sideline after the 26-yard score. 12 plays, 80 yards, real efficient, especially the way they utilized Daniel Thomas, too.
Yeah, Daniel Thomas, and I got to give Kaufman a lot of credit. The pressure was extreme a lot of times. He stayed in the pocket with a lot of poise. Quarles, catch. Yards after catch, yards after contact. Not a very good job of tackling in space. Jasper Simmons misses a tackle, but Quarles, not only the catch, spin away from one, spin away from another. He's a whirling dervish out there. Spin to the right, spin to the left, split them both, score a touchdown. Unbelievable effort.
So most thought it was over, except the staff on the K-State sideline when it was 38-14 Missouri. Onside kick again. Man, it'll be taken by Alden Smith. The big guy's out there. So the onside kick, man, it is a double number. Marcus Lucas, actually, not Alden Smith, a hands guy out there.
Yeah, and really, you know, the problem that Kansas State did was they dug themselves too deep a hole with 4 turnovers in 5 possessions, counting the last play of the first half. Think of how big that play is right now. If they don't fumble at the 1-yard line, basically it's a tie football game. I mean, that play turned out to be massive, and we knew it would.
Gabbert's got to run the ball. He's got 99 yards.
Yeah, really.
The last thing you would expect from Missouri is Gabbert getting 100. Devin Moore on the handoff. K-State still with 2 timeouts, but they're down by more than 1 score. With a minute to play, it rolls. Ray Kibble on the stop, a junior from Houston.
And that's one thing that you never know about college football. These coaches are very clever, and they, incorporated Gabbert in the running game very much today. In Missouri, Steck's talking about it. 1 week you're defending Nebraska running the football. The next week, Texas Tech with the spread offense. Come back with Kansas State, they can do a little bit of both. I mean, you have to, every single week, it's like a new season of preparation.
This should be the final snap of the game. And it will be. 5th consecutive win over K-State. 6th straight overall for Missouri, though, on Senior Day. A very special day for all of them in Columbia. And now Missouri keeping pace, at least, with Nebraska. But they need help. They do not control their own fate after the loss to Nebraska. And now K-State, with 25 seconds to go, stops the clock.
Calls the timeout. That's the competitive nature and competitive spirit of one Bill Snyder. Game's not over. Got things to work on. Everything, no matter if you win or lose a football game, you learn from every single experience. And Bill Snyder uses every single experience as a teaching tool.
They've got one more timeout on the board with 25 seconds left. And K-State will use their last timeout.
You know, Bill Snyder finds it distasteful in a one-score game to leave the field with any timeouts in your pocket.
Well, it's not a one-score game.
Well, if you score the two-point conversion. Oh, yeah, that's right, because they didn't score the two-point conversion. But he feels it's just distasteful, you know, not to exhaust every single thing they possibly can. I mean, that's just the way he is. He's showing his team that I'm going to compete. I want you to compete. That's the bottom line.
So Missouri will punt the football on 4th down.
Missouri 4th down and 8. All of Kansas State 45. Matt Grabner.
Missouri at 8-2. Still to come, though. A test on the road next week at Iowa State as Grabner gets into it.
Touchdown.
Yep. Out of the 20 for Kansas State.
45-yard punt.
So long affair on senior day. An emotional one to start for Gary Pinkel and his squad. And a successful one. Gabbert 99 yards on the ground. And the story through the air was very efficient for Gabbert.
He had a little stretch in the 3rd quarter. He came out of the locker room in a little bit of a funk, but quickly got out of that and got back into rhythm. He did a nice job today leading his football team to victory.
Kaufman shovel pitch Wilson, and that'll do it. It is all over at Mizzou. So the Tigers took over late in the 3rd. Man, took it away from Kansas State in what started out to be a very close game. Very competitive game, but the turnovers cost K-State more than anything else. They had that one stretch where they had 3 out of their 4 possessions from the middle of the 3rd, early into the 4th, that were turnovers.
Yeah, and the big turnover right at the conclusion of the 1st half. Center quarterback exchange, unforced error, was a massive mistake.
Downstairs we go. Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Joel. Coach, congratulations. I know it was an emotional day for you on senior day, and you guys came out here with a victory, mainly due to 4 turnovers your defense caused, and Blaine Gabbert had a nice afternoon.
Yeah, I think we did a lot of good things. You know, we didn't finish at the very end. You know, we lost focus a little bit at the end, but anyway, I'm real proud of our football team. We lost 2, come back and got a victory, and now we got a big game against Iowa State next week.
What'd you tell your team at halftime? You got close there. You got a key turnover going into half. What'd you tell your team at half?
Well, the big thing was that, you know, we got to do a little bit better against the run, number 1. Number 2 is they're a great team. We're going to have to win this game. They're not going to give it to us. So we battled, we competed, and I'm proud of them.
All right, Coach. Congratulations on the big win. Joe?
All right, Knoxie, and like we saw last week, some balance from Missouri, at least in play calling, where they got a number of rushes in there to match a team that's always been top-heavy in the passing game. And they did have balance overall in yardage.
Well, I think 2 things in this football game that were big to me. Turnovers. I mean, Missouri took control of this football game with takeaways, and Gabbert running the football. That was a factor. That was the X factor. I did not consider that to be a big part of the game plan coming in whatsoever.
Well, Gabbert had 99 of the 232 yards rushing, 208 yards passing. Thanks for our entire crew. So long from Columbia, Missouri. We're on senior day. Missouri wins it 38-28. You've been watching Big 12 College Football Saturday, presented by Phillips Televisions.